Alrighty, welcome back everybody to our latest live stream. I hope everybody's having a good afternoon so far. We have a lot to talk about in terms of severe weather. We have multiple areas that we're watching right now, anywhere from Texas back into Kansas, with multiple severe storms ongoing, and there is a tornado risk associated with these areas. We'll be covering this over the next few hours, so make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Big day, obviously. We do have a slight risk of severe weather. Two different areas, one up in southern Kansas and as well as northern Oklahoma, and the other one is across parts of central Texas. Two different threats overall. We're talking about at least an isolated tornado risk in both areas, in addition to some large to very large hail, which we actually have golf ball sized hail ongoing right now with one of these storms. We'll be getting to that here in just a second. I do want to mention today's live stream is brought to you by Radar Omega. You can download Radar Omega on your iOS and Android device. It is the top link in the description below. Highly recommend it. We'll be using it throughout the entire live stream, and let's get right into it. So we do have multiple storms ongoing. These are three of the different storms that we have ongoing back over in central Texas. Moments ago, we have a report that there's actually a rotating wall cloud just west of Route 277 on this storm. Not tornado warned right now, but there is obviously going to have to be some eyes on this storm as there is a little bit of rotation, at least in the lower levels. That is just southwest of Bronte, back over south of Abilene. We have multiple storms out here that actually have hooks on them. This is one of them that has a bit of an inflow, obviously a hook as well, and that is where we're going to have to be watching for the chance of a tornado developing on this. So this would be the area to watch for, and that is near 208, just south of the Robert Lee area. We also have other storms ongoing in this other severe thunderstorm warning. This is southwest of Sweetwater. These two storms have actually had some rotation for quite some time. It has been more of a damaging wind and hail threat, though, thus far. We haven't really had any tightening of rotation by any means. This storm in particular that's further to the east has had a little bit more rotation, but I would say more than anything, we're talking more about a damaging wind threat, at least for the time being, with these two storms. We will need to monitor them closely as they continue to move to the east toward central Texas, areas like Abilene. As these move further to the east, I do think we have a bit more of a favorable environment for an increased tornado risk once these storms do arrive just south of Abilene. And I do think we have a lot more shear in this environment, and that'll help to rotate these supercells in the lower levels and perhaps produce an isolated tornado or two in an hour or two. So we'll have to watch that area very closely. And we also have another supercell ongoing that's back over in western North Texas. This just developed over the last 20 minutes or so. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning on this one. Just to the west of Mineral Wells, east of Breckenridge. Main concern right now is quarter-sized hail, but I would not be surprised if we got an upgrade to that at some point down the road. That is definitely looking to be some large to even perhaps very large hail as that moves towards Possum Kingdom Lake and eventually going toward Grafford. Overall, these storms not super quick today. This storm in particular moving east-northeast at about 25 to 30 miles per hour. So that'll allow for a much larger area to be able to be warned. Obviously, warning times are going to be much easier since we're talking about slower moving storms. We also have another severe thunderstorm warning southwest of Vernon, Texas. This is near Crowell. This storm is actually producing golf ball sized hail. This one's racing to the north and east. So most of the storms south are moving east. These ones that are further up here to the north are actually moving northeast. So there's a couple of differences there with the direction of these storms. This one will be moving toward areas like Quanah, eventually going toward Vernon, and eventually toward Frederick, back over in parts of southwestern Oklahoma. We actually had a supercell that was trying to develop over in southwest Oklahoma near Medicine Park and near Lawton. This one is actually starting to weaken out, and one of the problems that we have right now across much of Oklahoma and as well as back through Kansas is that we have a capping issue. Essentially what that means is that once we go a little bit further up into the atmosphere, there's a little temperature inversion which blocks clouds from building past a certain height, and that's what we actually have down over here in southern Kansas as well. However, we are beginning to notice that that cap is starting to erode, which should lead to more thunderstorm development across northern Oklahoma and southern and eastern parts of Kansas over the upcoming couple of hours. And Connor Croft, storm chasing with us, he is covering these southern Kansas storms, which actually have a little bit more of a tornado risk associated with those if they are able to end up developing. And we do have one developing right now near the Caldwell area and South Haven. Obviously, if you're anywhere just south of Wichita, be very mindful of that storm because there is a slightly more elevated tornado risk if that storm is able to mature and materialize. And the severe weather doesn't end there. We have another storm up here closer to Burlington in eastern Kansas. This one is strong, but we obviously have a severe thunderstorm watch here across parts of southeast Kansas, even back into northern parts of Oklahoma, and that goes all the way until about 9 o'clock tonight. And then we also have our other severe thunderstorm watch further down to the south across areas in southwest Oklahoma and north central Texas all the way through 10 o'clock this evening. The main concern will be large to very large hail. We'll have a few storms with hail as large as the size of tennis balls, including the potential for damaging damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, and there will also be the chance for a couple of tornadoes anywhere from the DFW area and back through areas in central Texas all the way back up into southeast parts of Kansas. So we'll be doing extensive coverage on this over the next few hours. Again, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We'll be keeping you posted with the latest as all these storms do develop and evolve. And if you're just tuning in, again, we do have a report of a rotating wall cloud just west of Route 277 on this storm that's near 208. This is not currently in a super populated area, but just southwest of Bronte. This storm in particular has a little bit of rotation associated with it, at least near the clouds. No definitive area of rotation on radar, but that doesn't mean we don't have a rotating wall cloud, since we are looking a bit closer to the surface. And then further up to the north near 208, we do have a storm that we need to watch for closely here. This one is beginning to rotate a little bit more. That is, again, southwest of Abilene by quite a bit, but that rotation is beginning to pick up a little bit. Again, southwest of Abilene, and really one of these three storms, likely going to be this one, but any of these three storms have a chance to produce a tornado over the next couple of hours. We have been watching the environment very closely, and it's very favorable that we're at least going to get some rotation, perhaps even a couple of tornado warnings down the road with either of these two storms, whether it's this one that's back up near 208 or this one that's just west of the Bollinger area. Both of those storms need to be monitored very closely because we do have a little bit more of an elevated tornado risk here across parts of central Texas over the next few hours. I do think overall the tornado risk across much of North Texas will be remaining pretty low for the next few hours. We might get something brief, but overall most of the activity that is ongoing here is really stabilizing the atmosphere, and that'll help to allow for most storms that do try to develop not really being able to develop, basically meaning that stabilizing the atmosphere should be able to limit the overall storm chances across much of North Texas. With that being said, all this rain has actually led to some flooding back over near Mineral Wells, so that's just something to keep in mind if you're in that area. But really the main concern in North Texas for the next few hours will be back over in western North Texas. This storm in particular near Grafford beginning to develop a little bit more. That's producing some large hail, and it might produce some sort of risk of damaging winds down the road as well. Alrighty, and we're going to be really monitoring these three storms again the most closely over the next few hours. These ones again have the greatest tornado risk across Texas for the next few hours. Alrighty. Hope everybody's doing well this evening or this afternoon, depending on where you are. Again, Storm Chaser Connor Croft is at the bottom right of your screen, or he will be in a second. He has the radar on, but he is currently chasing the storms that are back down in southern Kansas, just south of Wichita. That is an area that is also favorable for a isolated tornado development. Computer models were really hinting at something happening there sometime between now and about 7 o'clock, so we will definitely be watching that very closely as we go throughout the evening. But again, so far, capping has been a bit of an issue there across parts of southern Kansas. Alrighty, how's everybody doing today? Welcome on in. Thank you, Exotic, for becoming a moderate velocity member. I appreciate that, and welcome to the Velocities. Thank you, thank you. Let's see if we have any other reports on Twitter here. We do have a storm that's back up in Kansas, which Connor's on. We'll go widescreen to him in a second. This storm is starting to mature a little bit. Again, this is really the only one that we've had really develop and actually be able to have some updraft potential with it. And this is just near South Haven. And this storm in particular is the one that we're going to have to watch for a tornado risk. But as of right now, it's still not very organized, but it is definitely developing here. And we had a storm earlier, right around about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and it has now weakened out. But this was the first storm that we had develop, and it was not able to get past the cap. So at this point, this is likely going to be the one that we'll have to watch for as we go throughout the next couple of hours, as there is a high likelihood that this does stay discrete, meaning it stays individual, away from any other storms, and those ones are usually the ones that produce the greatest tornado risk. So that'll be something to watch for. And the storm that was really looking impressive all the way through about 20 minutes ago near Medicine Park and Lawton, this one has completely fizzled out. We did have some quarter-sized hail with this one near Mears, Oklahoma, but that storm is definitely weakening out at this point. The ones that are the most mature at this point are in North Texas and back over in Central Texas. North Central Texas in particular, Crowell, be mindful. Golf ball-sized hail currently moving into your area, and plenty of lightning. We also have a cyclone port from Radar Omega. This is near German, Texas, and you'll notice all the dark skies in the background. And this is going to be a storm to watch for back over near Grafford, Texas, just west of Mineral Wells. This storm is definitely going to be something to watch for. You can see the camera is turning. And notice the ominous skies there in the background. Again, looking, I believe this is looking west, and then the other way was looking south. So you can notice here again, a couple storms ongoing right now. New severe thunderstorm warning for Quanah, just west of Vernon, Texas. There was a pretty devastating tornado here a couple years back near Vernon, but this is the area that's being impacted. $half size tail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. That is heading toward Route 287, so stay away from windows on that storm. By the way, we do have severe thunderstorm warnings. I just forgot that my stream deck isn't plugged in, so we don't have any warnings on the screen. Give me 1 second. I'll plug this in. Just thought of that. We have more than 0 severe thunderstorm warnings. We do not have any tornado warnings right now, just for the record. All right, there we go. And then back over in central Texas, again, we are monitoring really 3 different storms right now for a tornado risk. If any of these are able to get enough shear, we'll definitely have to watch that closely. Do have a little bit of rotation, again, located north of Robert Lee, that's southwest of the Abilene area. We'll have to watch the storm pretty closely as it continues to drift to the east. But 3 of these storms all have little hook echoes. The problem right now being that we don't have a whole lot of shear in the lower levels. But I do think that'll start to increase a little bit more as these storms move toward the Abilene area, eventually into western North Texas over the next couple of hours. But these ones in particular are going to be the ones that we have to watch for the closest. All these storms, by the way, are moving to the east for the most part, if not maybe northeast if you're further back up near like north central Texas or back into Oklahoma or Kansas. All these storms in central Texas mostly are moving east, northeast, or east at about 25 miles per hour. So overall, not a super fast moving environment with supercells. We haven't had really a fast moving supercell environment for quite a while. Even back in the Midwest, we had most storms moving at around 30 miles per hour. So just kind of keep that in mind. This is not a super fast moving environment right now. All right, let me go back to chat here. How's it going, David? And Kyle, welcome back. No tornadoes in Illinois. Illinois will be all right. Anywhere in the Midwest, in fact, honestly, will be pretty good over the next few days. The only thing that you're going to see is just heavy rainfall, and that'll be tomorrow. New severe thunderstorm warning was just issued for Coleman, Santa Ana, as well as back near Route 67. This is for $half size tail, 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. So be mindful of that. That storm will continue to move to the east over the next little while. If you're wondering more about the severe weather potential for tomorrow, my forecast today has a lot more details on that. This storm in particular, back over west of the Bollinger area, we're going to have to watch pretty closely. We had a report earlier of a rotating wall cloud on that. And then over near Coleman, let's check out the velocities here. We do have a little bit of rotation attempting to develop near the Santa Ana area, just west of the Brownwood area. We do have a little bit of rotation attempting to develop. This will also be a storm to watch for as it continues to push to the east. I'd say really the 2 different storms that we will have to watch the closest for a tornado risk over the next hour will be this one over near Coleman, and then the one over here near Route 208, just north of Robert Lee. Those are the 2 storms in particular that I do think have the greatest chance of producing a tornado over the next few hours. And StormNet agrees with that, by the way. StormNet showing that the Coleman storm actually has about a 50% chance of producing a tornado. So that'll be interesting. And that's over the next hour. Sounds like Connor Croft, by the way, is repositioning right now. Which he's not currently at the bottom right of your screen, but he should be at some point soon. But the storms right now in southern Kansas currently starting to intensify pretty quickly. And again, the storm that we're watching right now in Kansas is south of Wichita. This storm in particular is actually beginning to organize a little bit more. Again, this is really a favorable environment. If we end up if any storms like this one, and this is really the main storm that we need to watch for, if any of these end up getting enough of a hook echo, we have a pretty favorable environment here for there being a tornado. Not seeing any rotation right now. It's still a very early stage of this storm, but this one, as it moves to the north, is definitely going to have to be watched very closely. It's going to be traveling right up and down Interstate 35. So that'll definitely be something to watch for as that moves north-northeast. And then again, back down in Texas, we have multiple storms ongoing, but the main ones that we're watching, again, one back over in western North Texas, that's producing mainly hail. We got one west of Brownwood, increasing tornado potential on that. And then back over north of Robert Lee, we actually have a new severe thunderstorm warning for some $half size tail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. That was just issued moments ago from the National Weather Service. So if you're anywhere just southwest there of Abilene, be mindful that this storm in particular right now is the most severe, really, out of the cluster of storms that we have here. But again, notice we have a few different areas that we're watching. We actually have pretty good storm shapes on radar. But again, the problem right now with these storms is the lack of shear. We'll see if that starts to ramp up as they move more to the east, and I think it will. So this will be really something to watch for as these storms move further to the east over the next 30 minutes to an hour. Thank you, Haffer, by the way, for the $4.99. I appreciate that. Thank you. By the way, this is full screen to Connor right now on the storm that's back over in Kansas.
Anyway. Yeah, my bad, guys.
A little bit blurry right now, but that's what we're talking about right now with that storm.
But that was probably a good thing anyway. Anyway, so what I'm looking for now is for these eastern
Those are the storms that are beginning to develop. He's currently going west toward Interstate 35, and you should have a pretty good view on that storm in about probably 15 minutes or so, so we'll keep a close eye on that. And it's at the bottom right of your screen, so you can keep a close eye on that. Yeah, Fort Worth has been a lot of rain thus far, and Fort Worth is probably going to stay that way for the next few hours. I think the greatest threat of severe weather for North Texas probably will not be until tomorrow morning, like early, because a lot of the storms that we've had roll through North Texas today have really just stabilized the atmosphere, and that will lead essentially to less thunderstorm activity this evening, and that'll lead to more of a severe weather threat overnight tonight. Well, we have had some flooding. This is actually in Mineral Wells, Texas, which is just west of DFW. This is some flooding. This was sent in by Aaron Ford, but just west, or just, I believe just west of Mineral Wells, or just north of Mineral Wells. This is where this was taken. A lot of flooding there. Notice the trampoline still in place. No flying trampolines here, but that is obviously something that's been happening over there. We had a flood warning earlier today across areas near Mineral Wells, and that's actually led to some flooding there. So hopefully that does not become much more of an issue, but there are going to be more storms in the forecast overnight tonight, especially for those in the DFW area and even in western North Texas. That'll be the key area to watch for some severe weather tonight, or really overnight tonight to tomorrow morning. But the main concern all the way through 10 o'clock tonight will be in the severe thunderstorm watch. This entire severe thunderstorm watch here goes until about 10 o'clock Central Time. And then the one that's back up in Kansas and northern Oklahoma goes until 9 o'clock Central Time. That'll be the main time frame to watch for severe weather. And then there'll be an overnight threat as well. But that will be primarily for those in North Texas and as well as Central Texas. Don't have a whole lot of rotation really right now at the surface, but there is a little bit of something trying to develop here. Yeah, we got a little hook echo on this storm. This is near the Tennyson area, just south of Shawville. Inflow, got a hook echo here. That would be where we're watching for the tornado risk, and that is going to continue to move to the east-northeast. And we also got the other storm near Santa Ana. Let's go back to this northern radar site. And notice not really a whole lot of rotation here right now, but this is also going to have to be something to watch for as it moves more to the east. If it's able to become a bit more organized, we could get a tornado risk out of this as it continues to push toward Brownwood, and as well as Lake Brownwood in parts of very western North Texas. An upgrade on the severe thunderstorm warning west of Grafford. This is near the Possum Kingdom Lake. No rotation on this, so I'm not concerned about a tornado risk on this storm at this time, but there's more of a hail component. Notice that white color that you're seeing there? That is where the greatest hailstones will be. That's where we're talking about the potential for some half-dollar sized hail. The correlation coefficient also showing that hail right now falling, which the correlation coefficient isn't just used for tornadoes. It also shows hail falling in the atmosphere, and we actually have a lot of that right now near Possum Kingdom Lake, and that is going to continue to move to the east-northeast toward Grafford over the next little while. And then the other storm that's west of Vernon, this one's producing half-dollar sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. No rotation on this storm either right now, but it is going to continue to produce hail, lots of lightning over the next 15 to 20 minutes, and we'll see if it continues to stay as intense as it is into southwest Oklahoma. But it looks like it has weakened just a little bit with that hail core, a little bit smaller than before, and that's moving toward Chillicothe and near the Quanah area, near Route 277, I believe. 277? Yeah, no, 287, sorry. That'll continue to move to the north and east. All right. I don't think Brownwood's going to get missed. Brownwood is pretty much in the direct path of this. Look at this, by the way. This is the storm that is developing right now over in Kansas. Really impressive view there of the cumulonimbus clouds towering to the equilibrium level. The equilibrium level is when we have where the clouds essentially stop growing past into the atmosphere. There's always a cap on the atmosphere of how far clouds can go up. That's around 40 to 50,000 feet today, depending on where you are. And once it hits that, we sometimes get those overshooting cloud tops. So that's what we're currently looking at there. We'll go back to them once there's a better view on that. I'd definitely be weather aware if you're in Abilene, Texas. The storms right now are going to probably stay to your south, but I wouldn't rule out maybe an isolated storm there over the next couple hours. But the majority of the storms that have developed have all stayed relatively south of you. This would be the main one to watch for. It's moving a little bit more east, maybe east-northeast, so that might just clip the very far southern side there of Abilene, but I don't think it'll go into downtown area. But still be weather aware. Again, there is going to be a hail threat and also a tornado risk with these storms as they continue to move to the east. Here's another good view, by the way, of that storm in Kansas. It's a very impressive view there, again, of the towering clouds. Looks like that cap is definitely higher than before. I was watching him earlier, and there was definitely more of a cap in place earlier. The clouds were not going very high. They were only getting to like the mid-levels, and this is definitely getting higher than that. Losing them a little bit here. We'll go back to this. Yeah, it's a pretty impressive storm right now, and it's all pretty much flat land across southern Kansas. So if this storm does develop into anything, this will obviously be pretty easy to see even from a distance. But right now, it's still struggling to materialize. It's not very organized. This is the storm that we're looking at here comparatively to what we're looking at in real time. And this is Storm Chaser Connor Croft on this storm that is trying to develop across southern Kansas. Really impressive view there of the storm. That is currently near South Haven, by the way, in Wellington. That's going to be moving north-northeast. Wichita will be the area to watch for long term. That is how a storm develops. Splitting. Yeah, there's a little bit of splitting. Yeah, when storms split, it can definitely get interesting. This one might be splitting a little bit. It was splitting a little bit when I was looking there a second ago. It's interesting. This storm, we could get a tornado warning on this at some point, but the storm near 277, this one had a rotating wall cloud earlier. We still have a hook echo on this, and there is still some rotation. It's not crazy strong. It's very weak rotation overall, but notice these strong winds as well in the center of the storm near Route 277 in Tennyson. But this one in particular definitely has a chance to produce a tornado as it moves east. That'll be going toward Bollinger and eventually going toward Brownwood down the road. But this one in particular has a very favorable environment since it is a discrete supercell, has much more opportunity to produce the threat of a tornado as it moves to the east. And also, Vince Walty, Storm Chaser on Radar Omega, is northwest of Bollinger. If you want to check him out, you can download Radar Omega with the top link in the description below. They are sponsoring today's live stream, so make sure to check out Radar Omega on your iOS and Android device. That is the app that we'll be using throughout this entire live stream. Yeah, that's definitely rotating. Let me check out this other storm as well. A little bit of rotation southwest of Coleman. But it's not really much. It's pretty weak right now. I would definitely say the storm that I'm really the most concerned about, a tornado risk here long term, will be this one near 277. It has had a hook echo here for quite a while. It is right now moving to the east-northeast toward the Bollinger area. Southeast Texas probably will not see much storm activity. You might see a little bit tomorrow, but Southeast Texas shouldn't be too bad. Check out the future radar real quick. If you get any storms, they'll be during the late morning or early afternoon tomorrow. Tomorrow's severe weather threat will be interesting. We actually have a bit more of an elevated tornado risk tomorrow along the Gulf Coast, back into Mississippi, and even in southern Alabama. There is a chance that we get a 10% hatched tornado risk tomorrow for some of you that are back down along the Gulf Coast. That'll be something to watch for. And I'm not sure if I'm going live for that quite yet, but it is possible that we go live for that. depending on the timing of it. I have a report in chat, again, I can't confirm it, but there is tightening rotation near 277, which, again, pretty definitive on radar that we do at least have some rotation. It's not overly strong by any means, but there is definitely some rotation there. That's over near the Tennyson area, south of Bronte, Texas, and this is going toward Bollinger, Texas. There has been some rotation with this for quite some time. I'm going to see if we have any other reports coming in on these storms as well. As of right now, I'm not seeing a whole lot of reports on it. We'll keep a close eye on it. Yeah, this is the storm right now blowing up in southern Kansas. This is south of Wichita, Kansas. A little bit blurry. Again, it should focus here in a second, but notice again the towering cumulonimbus clouds right now. Yeah, go back
Storm
up
chaser Chad. Yep, we got the mullet rolling, Chad.
Now, if you look at the bottom right of your screen, that's the storm. It's splitting a little bit, so got a little storm split happening. This is near South Haven and Portland, right next to Interstate 35.
Yeah, this one's definitely the best looking one out of the bunch right now. It still doesn't look great, but that one out west looks terrible now.
But really, the main thing that we're looking at here on this storm is right now just small hail and gusty winds. This is really, as this storm in particular, out of any storms that are going to form in southern Kansas tonight, if this one stays discrete or even semi-discrete, it would have the greatest threat of a tornado. So we'll have to still watch this very closely. But thus far, we haven't really seen a whole lot out of that. We also have a little cluster of storms near the Iola area that's moving east, and that is currently producing some small hail and gusty winds. But multiple storms that we'll have to watch for in Kansas. But the main concern really is going to be over the next hour or two. And again, a lot of storms ongoing across the DFW Metroplex. None of these are severe. All just ordinary thunderstorms. Lots of heavy rain. Perhaps some flooding potential will exist. Back over west of Grafford, we do have an ongoing hailstorm. This is producing some $half sized hail. No rotation with this one. I'm not concerned about a tornado risk at this time on this one. The shear is definitely lacking in this area, but we'll still have to watch it closely as it slowly drifts to the east-northeast. Jacksboro, Runaway Bay, Bridgeport, and Decatur should be all on alert for that storm. It's pretty slow moving, so it won't arrive probably for about an hour or so. We have a little bit of an inflow and a little hook trying to develop on this storm south of Coleman. That is going toward Brownwood. And then we also, again, have that other storm north of San Angelo. This is near the Route 277 area. Not nearly as much rotation as a few minutes ago, but we are still going to watch this closely. And I would say it has the greatest potential of producing a tornado risk out of most of these storms for the next 30 to 45 minutes. And some damaging wind potential back up north of Robert Lee. Again, a couple other storms up there that we'll be watching closely as well. I'd say Tulsa's severe weather risk is pretty low for tonight. Friendly reminder, by the way, if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe if you're new here. If you have any photos or videos, by the way, feel free to tweet us on Twitter at MaxVelocityWX. New severe thunderstorm warning for those in Grafford. This does include areas just north of Mineral Wells, south of Jacksboro. This is for $half sized hail. Again, brand new severe thunderstorm warning. So if you're in Grafford or anywhere in this area, be mindful. There is a chance for some $half sized hail. That is moving currently to the east. Really, the main concern again are going to be these three storms down here in central Texas. Let's go back to Connor here. He's approaching that storm that is attempting to strengthen in southern Kansas right now.
Alright. Wait, what did you say?
Do you want to grab dinner somewhere?
By the way, that's for Salesville, Texas, Grafford, and Perrin, Texas. Salesville actually is the area that had some flooding as well.
Talk to you later.
Alright, good luck.
Yo, what up, Freddie?
Yeah, man, where's the storm at?
Yeah, I'm glad I did not go for that west one, even though these east ones are not looking much better.
Yeah, I'm going back east. I'm almost to Arkansas City again, so.
I'm in Cedar Vale.
Cedar Vale's a good spot. I'm
Let's go back to here.
Right now.
I wish all that rain could put out the fires. Yeah, unfortunately, this event is for the most part all taking place away from the Panhandle. There will be some snow, but you know, we'll see how that actually affects the wildfires. I'm not sure what's the containment on that wildfire, the main one that was happening. Look it up real quick. Still says it's only 15% contained. It hasn't updated in a while. It hasn't updated in 4 days. I'm not sure if it's really still raging. Does anybody know? Thank you, Kyle, for the very generous $19.99. I appreciate that a lot. How's the tornado threat for DFW looking? Overall, the main concern is going to be large hail early tomorrow morning. Let me go to the Storm Prediction Center map here. Do the tornado risk. So this is the tornado risk for tonight. Though there is a 5% tornado risk all the way into southwest Tarrant County, I am really the most concerned about a tornado risk being confined into mostly this area here. I don't think it's going to go that far to the east, but with that being said, the tornado risk is low. It's not zero, but it's definitely on the very low side of things if you're near Dallas or Denton or Plano, wherever you are in the DFW Metroplex. It's overall very low risk. I'm not that concerned about it. More than anything, it's going to be a large hail threat, and that will not probably happen until early tomorrow morning. And the reason why we're really not going to have a lot of storms tonight is because of all the storms that we've already seen. This is literally stabilizing the environment, and once we get all this rain going, it hurts the overall storm potential and severe weather potential. And that's why I'm a little bit surprised that this storm was actually able to develop over here just west of all this activity near Grafford. Definitely a little bit of a surprise, but the storm overall is beginning to weaken, it looks like, just a little bit, but for the time being, it is still producing some half-dollar sized hail near Grafford. 74% contained on the bigger fire. Thank you. So I guess it has actually gotten a lot more contained than before. It was 15% back on the 3rd. Connor Croft is apparently playing football. I don't think he is. He's definitely driving right now. He might have been earlier, though. Storm chasers do that a lot whenever there's nothing happening, or they're just waiting. They'll just throw a football or whatever. I bet that was happening a few hours ago. If you're just tuning in, again, we're doing severe weather coverage on Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. All three of these states have a threat of severe weather. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect across southern Kansas all the way back into central Texas. This goes until 10 o'clock tonight. Even if you're not in this watch, there is still at least a low-end threat of severe weather. Main concern across this entire area will be hail, up to tennis ball sized hail, damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, and there's also going to be a chance for a couple of tornadoes. The greatest risk of tornadoes tonight, I'll actually go ahead and put it on here. Greatest risk of tornadoes tonight, a little bit more of a conditional risk back over near Wichita for a tornado or two, and then back over in parts of central and even north Texas, there is a 5% tornado risk, and then after that we have the number 6 going here, anywhere from Missouri all the way back into the Dallas area with a 2% tornado risk, basically meaning a very low tornado risk for the evening and as well as into the overnight hours. And then tomorrow's severe weather risk, it gets actually a little bit more interesting. We have a very large slight risk of severe weather from the DFW area all the way back through Montgomery. I am fully expecting some sort of enhanced risk with this as long as trends continue. There will likely be a little bit more of an increased tornado risk in southern Mississippi and eastern Louisiana. Large hail being a larger concern overall in east and northeast Texas and southwest Arkansas going into tomorrow morning and early afternoon. And again, if you want more details on tomorrow's severe weather threat, you can watch the video forecast from earlier today. I did a whole breakdown on that in that forecast. Also breaking down where I think the greatest tornado risk would be. Wichita having a tornado risk day? What else is new? I know, it seems to happen every day. Still got this hook echo on the storm near 313, but really no rotation right now in the lower levels. Robert Lee, also a new little hook trying to develop on this, but again, really not much rotation on that. Then near 277, same story. We got 3 hook echoes, but really not much inflow and not much rotation on these storms. It'll be interesting to see how they evolve, but so far they have been struggling in terms of rotating. Again, I think that threat will increase a bit more once they get a little bit further east. Thank you, Chris, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate your generosity. Thank you for your no-nonsense, professional, and consistent live streams. Very much appreciated. I appreciate you, Chris. Thank you for the generous $10 super chat. I try to go live for every severe weather event that I can, or at least if it's a more meaningful severe weather event. I was not really thinking I would go live for that Midwest gust-nado outbreak back a few days ago, but that one we end up going live for that large marginal threat. How's it going, Guy? Welcome back. How's it going, Milk? Thank you, Audrey. Appreciate it. Glad you enjoy them. See if we have any other reports here. $half sized hail again possible near Perrin, Grafford, and Witt, Texas. That's in Parker, Palo Pinto, and Jack counties. Also includes Joplin, Texas. No wind threat on that right now. Thank you, Drew, for the 199. What about Springfield? What Springfield are we talking about? Will they pull an enhanced risk tomorrow? I think there will be, but again, we'll see. I don't really... I mean, I don't 100% know. I don't have any, you know, direct contact with the Storm Prediction Center, but I do think there will probably be one tomorrow. As long as there's more confidence on a specific area. The problem that they've had is having enough confidence on a particular area or region for a enhanced risk, excuse me. We haven't really had a specific area nailed down, but I really think the greatest tornado risk would be down near the Gulf Coast, near southern Mississippi, and also into southern part, or eastern parts, excuse me, of Louisiana. That's where I think the greatest risk will be, but we'll see. There is probably about 20 Springfields in the United States, so I don't know which one you're talking about, just for the record. Thank you, Lori, for the $9.99. I appreciate your generosity. What time will the big hail be coming to Southwest Fort Worth? I will show you the timing as long as we don't have any rotation brewing. Looks like most of the storms are behaving for the time being. All right, let me go to the future radar, give you an idea of timing for tonight. We have 2 different rounds of storms that'll happen tonight, and they're both going to be happening at completely different times. So this is what we're talking about for tonight. Notice 6, 7, 8 o'clock, plenty of storms out there across Texas. These will mostly be hailstorms and damaging windstorms, but it should remain an isolated threat through most of North Texas. And I'll zoom out a little bit so you can get more of an idea. Again, we're dealing with mostly isolated, discrete supercells in Kansas and northern Oklahoma right now. They will become much more clustered right around 7 to 8 o'clock tonight. Once we go late into this evening, into the overnight hours, those storms continue to move to the east. These storms will start to move out of the DFW area, but watch this. Another round of storms will develop in central Texas around 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. This will start to move into parts of North Texas by right around 4 to 5, and these will be producing mainly damaging winds, but there will also be the chance for some isolated large hail right around 5, 6, 7 in the morning, so right in time for rush hour. And by 8 to 9 o'clock, those storms move out. And by the way, we are not probably done with severe weather then. There will be another round of storms tomorrow afternoon. This is right around 1 o'clock tomorrow. We'll be watching for that low pressure system back over in Oklahoma to spawn a few more storms across areas in northwest Texas, or northwest North Texas around 3 o'clock. And by 4 to 5, we'll have to watch for another isolated threat of severe weather. Keyword isolated. It's not going to be a widespread hail event, but there will be an isolated hailstorm or two tomorrow afternoon, right around about 2 to 7 o'clock or so. So it's going to be a busy next 24 to 48 hours. And then we have to deal with this other massive area of severe weather tomorrow, which, again, if you want more details on this, make sure to check out the forecast from earlier today. But tomorrow will be more of a damaging wind hail event, and there will also be a little bit more of an elevated tornado risk comparatively to today. Today's risk is much smaller in terms of that tornado risk. I will be live at least, probably through at least 7. But it depends on what the storms are doing. If they are still severe after 7 or even around 7, we'll definitely be live for as long as we need to be for tonight. But the main concern for severe weather tonight, in terms of the event that's happening right now, will be between 5 to about 8 o'clock or so. So now until 8, essentially, is the greatest potential for any tornado risk, any very large hail risk. And this area back south of Abilene is actually under a hatched area for large hail, meaning that there is a chance for greater than 2-inch diameter hail in this area. And that would come out of any of these storms. So we also have to watch that potential and that threat as these storms do evolve and move further to the east. Something that has been a little bit of a struggle so far is the tornado risk trying to develop on these storms. Again, we have a lot of different hooks here, but it seems like that low-level shear is struggling a little bit here. Actually curious. I'm going to check out the latest HRR model run here. Yeah, the HRR model still shows the greatest tornado risk being south of Interstate 20 and west of Interstate 35, mostly in this quadrant here, all the way through about 10 o'clock tonight. Which would come out of one of these storms, obviously. These would be the ones to watch for. By the way, this is a live view of Connor Croft right now in southern Kansas. He's on a discrete storm that is attempted to develop twice now. And look at the radar at the bottom right of your screen. This storm is struggling. Once again, having an issue beating the cap.
Yeah.
It's still pretty impressive view. Obviously, you can see the cumulonimbus clouds on the right side of your screen in the center at the very top.
Right
near Interstate 35. This is just near Wellington. It's south of Wichita, Kansas. That is a storm that has struggled. If this storm does not really materialize in anything, which I don't think it will, the ones that are back over in northern Oklahoma, you can see that at the bottom right of your screen, they are now developing. So the one that's over here near the Helena area, that one is beginning to develop as well. That will move into northern Oklahoma over the next hour. So far, the Kansas storms have had capping issues, which out of any place, Texas is actually one of the most prone areas to capping in the atmosphere. And what that means is essentially once we go a little bit higher up into the atmosphere, so let's just say right here is the surface, we go up into the atmosphere, clouds are building, and you got all these clouds, and all of a sudden there's a temperature inversion that caps off the clouds from developing, but once that cap is gone, these clouds will continue to build up and create a potential supercell storm. We've had a lot of issues with that in southern Kansas thus far today. That's why there's really not been a whole lot of a materialized risk there so far. Obviously that could change. It might change in the next hour, we'll see, but it's definitely been a struggle thus far in that area. That's where Connor Croft is right now.
Yeah, this
you can see it right there.
This one's taking off on
trying to blow up.
Chat.
A little bit blurry. It should focus in a second. I hate hail. I would hope so. Hail is not fun. By the way, thank you, Drew, for another 199. Sorry, I missed that. Illinois, Springfield. So you're talking about Springfield, Illinois. No severe weather. There will be some rain, though, tomorrow, but that's about it. No severe weather in the forecast there.
Yep, just broke 30K.
Apparently, this storm has just broke 30K, which means 30,000 feet.
So
the storm is attempting to blow up again. And it's gonna be this one at the bottom right of your screen.
Oh yeah,
again, that's the one that is on. See if it makes a run. And that's the environment that has a little more of an elevated tornado risk as well. Robert Lee is rotating. Check it out.
As long as it doesn't get undercut. Starting to cook.
Let's go back to the live radar. This is, by the way, there's a new severe thunderstorm warning, 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds for Winters, Texas. Just an FYI. Yeah, I got a little bit of rotation, but it's a little bit off the storm. Just let me check this out a little bit. Really, the area that is more key for there being a tornado on, even on radar, would be back down in here near 158. But there is definitely a chance that we get something there. Maybe even a gust-nado. We had a lot of gust-nados the other day back over in the Midwest. What is a gritty? I think it's a dance move. I'm guessing you're talking about. Oh, if I hit... No. I'm not doing the gritty. Hail destroyed my home's exterior. Yeah, hail is not fun, especially when it's wind-driven hail. Wind-driven hail can even be worse because it can shatter right through windows, and that is not a fun experience. If you're at home and whatnot, it can definitely be bad. But I think there will be more than 3 tornado warnings. I don't really make predictions like that. I mean, I'll just say, I think there will at least be 1 or 2 tornadoes at some point this evening, whether it's now, or like in the next 5 minutes, or whether it's in a couple hours. You never know. I do think there will at least be 1 or 2, though. Look at this thing. I mean, it's not even close to the storm, but a serious pocket of at least high winds. New severe thunderstorm warning for the Bollinger area. That is for half-dollar sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. That is currently moving to the east. The Grafford storm back over in North Texas actually does have a little bit of rotation. Just a little bit. It's pretty weak right now. Yeah, this Robert Lee storm definitely getting pretty interesting right now. Let's go back over here real quick, though. Let's go over to this storm. It's near Grafford. So there's a little bit of rotation trying to develop here. It's still pretty weak, but it's going to be something to watch for. Still a threat mainly for large hail, but the storm itself is has been on a little bit of a weakening trend when it at least comes to the hail threat. There's a little bit of lightning still associated with that, so we'll keep a close eye on that. But the storm's back over here just south of Abilene. Definitely getting a little bit interesting. Let's go back to this radar here. These are the three main storms right now. Yeah, we have, I believe that's contamination just northwest of the Bronte area, but we do still have three storms ongoing here. All three of them, again, producing damaging winds, large hail. The one that's back over near Coleman, west of the Brownwood area, excuse me, currently not really producing much rotation, so not currently an imminent tornado risk, but still keep a close eye on it. More of a hail and wind threat at this time. Got three different areas of at least rotation in the potentially near the cloud base, but definitely nothing near the surface right now in either of these storms. By the way, apparently Connor at the bottom right of your screen, he is, I'll go to him live here.
Got rising scud, potential developing base to the left there, just to the west of Peru. Actually,
this is the storm over in Kansas.
Like. You guys are just tuning in. This is near Peru, Kansas. The far eastern storms that are developing. Looks like we may get a couple storm mergers.
I am currently looking to see if we have any reports of a tornado, but I don't think we do have any right now. I think a couple people saying that in chat. There's no confirmation of any tornadoes right now. Yeah, there's no confirmation of any tornadoes as of now. Which again, not really any of these storms are rotating at the surface. They're all pretty much, if there is any rotation, most of it has been confined to wall clouds at this point. This one near Bollinger, definitely, let's check this out a little bit. Looks like there's a little bit of rotation near Bollinger right now. So what we're looking at here on the velocities, red going away from the radar. It's actually... yeah, this is away. 1 second. There we go. This will be your rotation. So counterclockwise, that's cyclonic rotation. That's typical for tornadoes. That is a little pocket of rotation that we have near the Bollinger area. But notice on the latest scan, kind of weakening out again. A lot of that has been happening for the last few minutes. And then back up here near the Bronte area, notice that pocket of people perceiving this as rotation, not really rotating at this point. It's, I believe, more contamination. More than anything on that storm near Bronte. But there's definitely some damaging wind potential here near the Bronte area. And back over west of Winters, south of the Happy Valley. Again, all this being south of Abilene right now. This storm, primarily a hail and wind producer, is currently moving to the east. All right. When I go live, 48 minutes ago. Yeah, currently no tornadoes. We don't have any tornado warnings. Connor is currently driving through that Kansas storm at the bottom right. See if it's done anything here. We do currently have 6 severe thunderstorm warnings, by the way. Yeah, we have multiple little storms up here. Nothing really that crazy, but apparently Connor was saying that the one that's this one right here has been developing a little bit more over the last few minutes. So we'll watch that closely. This area in about an hour or two is going to be full with thunderstorms. We're going to have a huge area of storms up here in about a couple hours. So really any tornado risk that tries to develop with this area would have to come in the next like 60 minutes. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard for a tornado risk to materialize there. Back down here. How's it going, Ethan? Southwest Missouri is definitely going to get some rain. A current area where I would say there's really like some sort of short-term tornado risk would be out of these storms that are in between San Angelo and Abilene. It's going to be really these storms here. These are the main two. We also have a couple storms up here that have tried to rotate. They've just struggled. I'm kind of curious. What is the wind profiles here? We have plenty of veering in the wind profiles. But really the problem is, and even looking at the wind profiles, the winds right now near the surface, in between the surface and about 700 millibars in the atmosphere, they are relatively weak. So the tornado risk is definitely going to struggle a little bit. It might get going a little bit more closer to like 6 or so, maybe 7. The wind profiles definitely have some issues. The winds are not super strong right now. They might strengthen a little bit more, though, closer to 630 or so, in terms of the tornado risk. Severe weather next week. Let's get through the next 3 days instead of looking at next week. There's really nothing beyond today's event, at least in the next 5 days, that is really that concerning. Maybe the tail end of next week, but I don't really see anything imminently. Thank you, Ethan, for the 199. I appreciate that. Thank you. Go back to the velocities here. We got some contamination near Bronte. Again, not a tornado. Near Bollinger, nothing really in terms of rotation, at least as of a couple minutes ago on the latest radar scan. And then back over near Brownwood, also not really much rotation. Again, more of a hail and wind threat at this time. And then back over near the Grafford area, this is another little pocket that we're watching that has more of a hail threat, but this storm has been on a little bit of a weakening trend. That's going to be going toward Decatur, Bridgeport, and Runaway Bay over the next about 45 minutes or so. It's a slow-moving storm. It's moving east-northeast at about 25 miles per hour. We also have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Altus, East Duke, and El Dorado in Oklahoma, and this is primarily for the threat of large hail. We're actually up to golf ball sized hail on this storm. This one's currently moving to the north-northeast. Look at this view, by the way. That's on the Kansas storm.
Flat.
You can see the cloud base there. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, like, one of these is gonna have to merge, man.
Here's that storm on radar, by the way. So far, it has struggled to develop, but it is definitely a little bit more, a little bit stronger, I'd say, than about 5 minutes ago. You know, a little bit of pink showing up there, meaning at least heavier rainfall. Not severe at this time. It says severe thunderstorm warning. It's not severe. I don't have another thing to put it on.
Right now, that base is still pretty high.
Let's go back to here. Are we getting La Nina this year? Yeah, La Nina is going to kick in, but it's not going to probably be, probably until, at least until summer. Why doesn't Connor go to Texas? It's kind of hard to do that. I mean, he's in southern Oklahoma, and it would take him at least 2.5 hours to get there, I think, from there. I think it takes a couple of hours to get through Oklahoma. I could be wrong. At least 2 hours on I-35. So, I mean, realistically, it's hard to do that where he's positioned. But the area that he's positioned in actually was not a bad target area. The problem is, at this point, there's been a lot of capping, which essentially means storms are not able to get past a certain point in the atmosphere. And that's basically limited the overall severe weather potential up there, at least for now. It's going to increase. It'll definitely increase more over the next couple hours, but the imminent tornado risk that was potentially going to happen between now and about 6 o'clock or so just hasn't really transpired. All right. Thank you, Texas Sweet Tea, for becoming a minimum velocity member. I appreciate that. Welcome to the Velocities. Thank you. So at this time, most of the storms that are in the DFW Metroplex, again, not severe. If you're tuning in from the DFW area, all this storm activity is fairly ordinary for the most part. Not really looking at much hail or anything like that, but definitely some lightning. I know we have a lot of North Texas viewers that might be tuning in, so just want to give you a heads up there. And these are the three main storms. Really, I would say there's four main storms, but the three over here that are just south of Abilene, these all currently are the ones that we have to watch the closest for a tornado risk over the next couple of hours. We'll see if that materializes. Again, definitely not a guarantee, but this would be where the greatest potential is of that. Show the Grafford rotation. The storm near Grafford isn't really rotating that much. It's very minimal, even if it is rotating. I mean, we can look at from two different radar sites. The one from Abilene not showing anything, and then the one that's back over here near DFW, even then, it's really showing not much. I mean, it's very weak if we have any rotation. It's very weak and very minimal. So the chances of that storm producing a tornado, in my opinion, are near zero. It's really just not that impressive of a storm. The area that we have more of a potential for that is going to be between Brownwood and Bollinger with these four storms. Again, it's a bit more of a cluster, but this will be the area to watch for that tornado risk. Got a bunch of storms right now firing up across northwest Oklahoma, and none of these severe right now. The severe weather so far has been confined to areas in North Texas, Central Texas, and back through, actually, North Texas, which is interesting. Southwest Oklahoma also has that one warning. Yeah, I think tornado threat will definitely be higher tomorrow than today. I do think we'll have a better chance of that tomorrow, especially since we're talking about a much larger area. That'll definitely be something to watch for. By the way, I am retweeting photos of these storms on Twitter. That's at MaxVelocityWX. We've had a few photo submissions. If you have any photos that you've taken yourself, feel free to send them in to us, either on our Facebook page at North Texas Weather Center or on Twitter at MaxVelocityWX. Both of them I will be looking at for any photos throughout the next few hours. The low-level jet is pretty weak. I mean, it's really not that strong today. But with that being said, any of these discrete supercells, we do have a pretty favorable wind profiles up and down the atmosphere. A lot of veering. It's going to be a question of whether we actually get any crazy rotation on any of these. And we just haven't had much of that yet. But all very weak to this point. Like, if you look at these green colors and red colors, they're all pretty dull. I mean, even these green colors north of Bollinger and the reds are all fairly dull for the most part, which usually represents weak winds. And that's one of the problems that we have right now with these thunderstorms. We're not really getting a whole lot of rotation. Now, will that change? I do think it'll change a little bit over the next hour. There will be a little bit, or slightly stronger winds in about 30 to 45 minutes across areas in central Texas. That could promote a little bit more of an elevated tornado risk, but thus far it's been a bit of a struggle. DFW is not under a imminent tornado risk, but there is a small little 2% area that is just, you know, like southwestern Tarrant County, but it's a pretty minimal risk overall. North Texas really isn't in a tornadic situation, in my opinion. I do think the main concern will be large hail and damaging winds, and that'll be mainly out of the threat of severe weather that we see tomorrow morning, early tomorrow morning. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the chat. I will be answering questions since the weather currently is not too crazy. Thanks, Anthony. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're still watching the Wichita, Kansas area. Really, any of those suburb areas. Connor Croft, bottom right of your screen, Storm Chaser with us. He is on that storm activity that's in really far southern Kansas. So if he ends up running into anything, we'll definitely keep a close eye on that. But so far, he's driving right now through a small storm that's down there. But so far, nothing's really materialized. How's it going, Cody? I think the tornado risk will increase exponentially over the next hour or a couple hours. HRR is showing 300 to 400 storm relative helicity. Yeah, that could also increase. Let me look. What is it right now? Let's see. Check out the storm relative helicity. It actually shows some. Let me go to this screen here. Actually, I think I can I pull it up on here? I actually can. So here's the storm relative helicity. This is on Radar Omega, which, by the way, you can download this with the top link in the description on iOS and Android. This is the computer models. This is the storm relative helicity at 5 o'clock. Let's jump to 7. We get a little bit more orange down closer to Abilene, which would mean there's a little bit more storm relative helicity there. Numbers near 200 to 300. This is 8. This is 9. But I really think if we do get any sort of tornado risk going, it would probably be, again, down here to the south. It wouldn't necessarily be near the DFW area. It would be closer to areas between Bollinger, back just west of Waco. It would be really primarily south of Interstate 20 and west of Interstate 35. That's if we get any sort of tornado risk going. This would be really the main corridor to be watching for. Let's go back to the Bollinger storm. This is the main storm right now in central Texas. Is the storm near Bollinger. The other two that are back up near Winters have both weakened pretty quickly, as we have a lot of energy being used up by storms out in front of it. But this storm right now near Bollinger, that's moving to the east-northeast toward Coleman. And we got the other one near Brownwood. That's mostly small hail and gusty winds. And then the storm that's back over in North Texas is really not doing much. It's definitely weakening a little bit. There is still some quarter-sized hail, but I do think it'll die down a bit as it moves closer to Decatur and as well as Bridgeport. And back over near Altus in southwest Oklahoma, we are watching this storm as well. This one is producing the potential for golf ball-sized hail. So if you're up near Altus, Blair, or East Duke, or the Alusti area, make sure that you are protecting your vehicle, staying away from windows as well, as that storm continues to move to the north and northeast. And again, we got multiple little storms that are trying to develop across southern Kansas and northern Oklahoma. Again, none of these at this time are severe, but we'll still be watching them closely. And again, Connor Croft, bottom right of your screen, he is currently on those storms back over in southern Kansas. You actually can watch Vince Walty on the Radar Omega app. He's currently inside of this storm near Bollinger. Oh, look at this. Maybe, let's see. No, it's not really lined up. There's actually, this storm is, again, trying to rotate. We don't have a whole lot, but there might be a little bit of rotation trying to develop near Bollinger. Still watching the storm closely. Again, if there were to be a tornado, it would like to develop down in here, inside of this little rain-wrapped core back down near Bollinger, just on the east side there. If we end up getting some sort of tornado, they usually like to sit in that area. We have a massive shelf cloud, though, apparently, on this storm. Definitely more of a damaging wind threat. Seeing if we have any other reports here on Twitter. As of right now, no reports on these storms. Oh, look at this.
Wall cloud developing here.
Wall cloud developing. That's in Kansas, I believe. Southern Kansas.
Wall cloud on this thing now.
Should focus in a second. That's live. That's a wall cloud.
Does not appear to be rotating as of now. But it's getting going.
He's near the he's near the Coffeeville area. Peru, Kansas. I believe it's a storm, but he's actually on the other storm, and this is not even the other one. This is the one at the bottom right of your screen. This is over near Caney, southeast of Wichita. Lots and lots of scud clouds in there as well.
What's up, Evan?
Hey, so I guess I'll just put you through the mic.
I was thinking, so how I do it with like Reed is like you'll just text me that I'm up and on, and then I can just do the report.
Yeah, let's say wall cloud that's developing in Peru, Kansas.
You just take the audio from
really
my
impressive
stream.
Looking storm structure here.
Oh, interesting.
It's like you text me like, hey, Connor,
heading
you're
towards
on,
the Caney
and
area.
I'll be like, okay, and then I'll break down what's going on.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. What are you looking
Impressive
at?
watching this develop, though.
And I guess what about this storm has made you come over here? What's catching your eye?
Look at that,
This
dude.
storm
This
is
thing
further away
he's
from
saying
the
it too.
cold
This thing
front.
is
Wow,
organizing
that's
really fast right now.
Fast. This thing is really getting its act together. It's further east away from the crashing cold front. And
Oh, a
there were
great
lot of different
radar view on this
updrafts,
storm,
and now
so
we
this
have
is definitely
mergers
helping.
going on. And wow, this has really gotten organized in the last 5 minutes even.
That is, I mean, if you guys have been watching for the last 3 minutes, this wall cloud is organizing really fast.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that inflow tail is building with that. So
Almost got
it's kind of hard. Unfortunately, it's in a radar.
Yeah, it is in a radar. It's almost got left to right. It's got some left to right motion too.
Yeah, that's definitely looking like an interesting storm.
Got some
could be the
scud
one.
cloud as well on the left side. Obviously not very important for this, but
The storms have been looking pretty unimpressive.
some rising motion on this storm.
You know, this one's
Very
really
definitive
starting to
wall
look
cloud,
at
though,
the
that's developed here over the last 5 minutes.
interesting, so it'll be interesting to
Yeah,
see
this is
what
near,
happens.
not far from Caney, Kansas.
Remember, yeah, I mean, you guys got the upper level.
This storm has rapidly developed over the last 5 minutes. Bottom right of your screen again is that storm live in motion near Peru, Kansas.
Displaced, but there's still a decent amount there. Let me check that. Yeah, I mean, this storm's battling a cat, but man, it looks like that cat might not prevent this storm from doing much at the surface, though. I mean, it's just
It's definitely surface based right now. It's pulling in surface inflow.
Connor's talking with other people, by the way, just an FYI if you're wondering.
I wonder what the SRH is like with this storm. That might be what's keeping it going here, regardless.
Yeah, StormNet also is showing a slight increase in the tornado risk on this storm as well in southeast
Oh yeah,
parts of Kansas. This is again near the Peru area in Caney.
That'll be enough.
Wow, this I mean,
definitely
guys, you put this in like a small time lapse. This thing has really blown up over the last 5 minutes.
But yeah, man, we'll keep an eye on it. Thank you for the update.
No problem.
Are you gonna be sticking with this
We've only been on this
Yeah,
storm for
definitely
about,
gonna be staying on this one.
I don't know, 3-4 minutes now.
All right.
All right,
See ya.
later. Yeah, this is rapidly organizing. Big wall cloud, lightning.
This wall
Now,
cloud is
you see how much
massive.
this wall cloud has grown?
I don't know if you guys can see it fully. I mean, it goes essentially from where the current location thing says on the right side of the screen, all the way back over to the left middle. It's pretty large.
Wow. Yeah, this looks good. Got a little left to right there.
How's
Definitely
it going,
might need a little
exploration?
bit more time, but this is definitely the best look we've had. Already starting to develop a mezzo, it looks like.
Is there not a severe thunderstorm warning?
Let's
It's
go.
not really,
We're
it's
back.
not severe right now. Don't have any hail core or anything yet, but man, that thing is huge. Wall cloud is just massive right now. It's panning out a little bit more now.
Look at that thing.
Wow.
This is
Friendly reminder, if you're just
north
tuning
of
in, make sure to
Caney.
subscribe to the channel, like
Caney,
the
however you
stream.
say that.
And again,
I'm
this
not
live
seeing
stream
a ton
today is
of
brought to you by
rotation in there,
Radar
but this is
Omega.
built-
You can download
like
that on your
this
iOS
base
and
is
Android
built
device.
so
Top
quickly,
link in
I'm
the
not
description
worried
below.
about that yet. It's
You've been
still
using
gonna
that
need
throughout the
time.
live stream. That is the app that's on the main center of your screen right now. You can see it here. Make sure to download that. Top link in the description below. It's only $8.99 on iOS and Android, but it is the best $8.99 that you'll spend. It is a fantastic weather app with computer models, satellite imagery, radar, all sorts of stuff, and you can customize everything as well on the app itself. Fantastic app. I know a lot of you in chat have it. Can vouch for how great it is. Make sure to check it out. Top link in the description below. And I appreciate Radar Omega for sponsoring today's live stream. A wall cloud is essentially the rotating base of the storm, and this is essentially the beginning of the cycle for there being a tornado. Now, not all the time do we see a tornado with a wall cloud. A wall cloud is the beginning, though, of us seeing the potential for a tornado, and this is
chat, this is
huge.
nuts.
I mean, this wall cloud is at least a couple miles long for sure.
So quickly.
It is a very large wall cloud that we have developing here. That base, I mean, that base looks phenomenal in terms of its storm structure. Really impressive here. Fan man, go to the community tab. I posted a photo of that the other day.
That's so cool.
I did get the cheese curds. We got the cheese curd size tail. And there's a special weather statement on this now.
Let's see, what is Echo
Gusty winds and pea-sized hail. Also have a severe thunderstorm warning for the Fort Scott area in eastern Kansas.
Yep, this is the little scud I was
new
telling you
flash flood
about,
warning
chat.
in the DFW Metroplex.
This was the little scud I was telling you about.
Still watching the other storms as well.
That little scud over there that was developing just turned into this. Absolute beast of a base.
We actually
wow, dude.
got Brandon Kopic. He's heading toward this right now. He's a storm chaser on Radar Omega. You can actually see his location on there.
Still not a ton of left to right. I'm gonna have to get closer eventually, but right now it's still kind of organizing, so.
It's a really impressive view, though. Again, this is, you're just tuning in Peru and Canny, Kansas, and this is a wall cloud that has been developing for about 8 minutes now, and it is an extraordinarily impressive wall cloud. I mean, it's large. And this is not a severe thunderstorm at this point, but it very well could come to that point here pretty soon, and we very well could get a tornado out of it.
You can see the inflow right here, right by that car. Look at that stream into the base. That is really impressive. Might be starting to hook a little bit on radar.
Look at the right side of your screen, by the way. Not like the far right, but like the right side of the Storm Chaser view. You actually can see the inflow going into it. Those clouds. You might have to look closely. It's next to the current location. You can actually see that inflow going into it right now. This is pretty impressive. Pretty impressive storm shape.
As soon as it starts raining a little bit more, I'm going to drop a little bit south. In fact, I may do that right now. It's about to start pouring on me. I want to keep a good, clear visual.
All right, let's go to this real quick. We're going back to radar. Again, this is Connor Croft, the Storm Chaser. He's with us. Again, he is currently, that's the wall cloud on this storm. We're going to go back to the Tulsa radar site. This is the storm that we're talking about here. And there is rotation actually right here. It's not much yet, but that's the area that we're talking about for that tornado risk. This storm, again, very easily could drop a tornado with that shape of that large of a wall cloud. I mean, that thing is impressive. But this is going to be going toward Canny and Havana near Route 75. Real quickly, I want to go back through the other storms, and we'll go back to Connor once he's back in a position on that storm. Back near the San Angelo area, near Bollinger, we still have multiple storms ongoing here. None of these currently are really rotating. It's been pretty limited when it comes to the rotation on the Texas storms thus far. Multiple of these storms, though, are producing some large hail. The one near Bollinger, quarter-sized hail being possible. New flash flood warning for Dallas and Fort Worth and Garland. That is for the potential for some flooding on roadways, especially on lower-based areas, so make sure you turn around, don't drown. Severe thunderstorm warning still ongoing near Grafford, moving toward Bridgeport and Decatur, and that's for quarter-sized hail. That's a weakening storm. And then also near Altus, we have a half-dollar-sized hailstorm that is also on a little bit of a weakening trend that's going to be moving north toward Route 62. So if you're in any of those areas, definitely make sure that you're staying away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. Let's go back to that storm that is rapidly developing and very well could produce a tornado at any time. Again, this one's currently in southeast Kansas near the Canny area and near the Havana area, just southeast of Peru. Again, Connor Croft right now is on that storm. There is a wall cloud with it, and it very well could drop a tornado at any time as it continues to move to the east. And it's not a super fast moving storm, so repositioning on it for Connor shouldn't be that hard. So we'll be back to that wall cloud view probably in the next 60 seconds, I'm assuming. But we will see. I believe Connor's gonna have a view of it actually in a second. He's currently he's got a ramp going north, I believe. All right, let's go back to him. I think we might have a view of it.
Storm.
Wow, my goodness, look at that thing. You can't really see the entire storm. There you go. You can't see the entire storm, but man, that right there is the wall cloud. There's some like little hill there blocking it.
I get a good view where I'm not looking over a hill.
Once he gets past that, we'll be able to see it. Again, this storm is rotating on radar, and it's very possible we get a tornado warning on this. Again, Connor's repositioning. That's the wall cloud there in the background. There is rotation increasing on radar, so we very well could get a tornado warning at some point here soon on this.
Gotta find a road.
All right, let's go back to this. Again, this is the storm that we're talking about here. It's approaching Havana and the Caney, Kansas areas. This is your rotation. Wind's going away from the radar. Wind's going toward the radar. That is where the rotation's located. Arrow's pretty bad there. There you go. That's the rotation right there. And that's where we're watching for the potential of there being a tornado. And again, that's going to be moving toward the Caney area and Havana. Again, make sure that you are staying away from windows if you're in this area, just in case this does start to intensify quicker. Again, Connor should be having a much better view of that in probably about a minute or so. This velocity is quickly strengthening. And we do have now a severe thunderstorm warning, which has a tornado possible label on it. So for the time being, they've not issued a tornado warning, but they very well could at any time as the storm continues to really quickly develop. This is for Havana, the Caney area, Tyro, Deering, back into Independence in Kansas. And again, this storm is rapidly developing. Very well could produce a tornado here pretty soon. Connor, I believe, is about to have a view on this, or he should hear soon. He is turning down a dirt road, so we'll wait on that. Again, this right here is your rotation. It's moving to the east-northeast, Caney and Havana. Be very mindful of this storm. I would recommend staying away from windows as the storm continues to move east-northeast. And again, it could drop a tornado at any point. So make sure that you are staying very weather aware here. Here's the latest radar scan. Still, the rotation's definitely developing here. Rotation is definitely developing. No confirmation of any tornado at this point, but again, this is the one that we're going to have to watch for very closely as it continues to move east-northeast. How's it going, Daddy? Welcome back. Oh, look at this. Here we go. Bit better view. Again, still hill there. I think once he gets over that hill, we'll have a better view, but that right there is the storm that we're talking about, again, that has the potential of producing
so many hills in this part of Kansas.
Tornado. This is near Caney in Kansas. He's currently in the Peru area. Probably closer to Havana and Caney, though.
Looks like I get up on a hill over to my right.
How's it going, Jesse? I've been storm chasing before, but not for tornadoes. I've been storm chasing for hurricanes. Believe it or not.
Could get a view here soon.
Alright, he's about to get to a pretty good point on this, I think.
Tornado possible on the severe warning. Come on. Give me a view, man. Give me a
He's
view
struggling to get
hill.
a view over this hill right now. Who knew hills were in Kansas? I didn't. I thought Kansas was pretty
view.
I did not storm chase Hurricane Ian. I storm chased Hurricane Nicole. The Category 1 on landfall. That was back, like, recently. That was last year, I believe. Or like last year, but the year before that. I mean, previous fall. Wow, look at that.
Best I can do.
Right here is where you're gonna see it. That right there again is the wall cloud that is associated with this storm. Again, a tornado is very possible on this storm. as it continues to move
Roads are
east
rough.
here near Caney,
Look at all
Kansas.
the hills. It gets gridded soon, but it's not going to help the hills much.
Another really impressive view, though, of the supercell that is currently in southeast Kansas. This wall cloud is massive. And the rotation on radar is also picking up quite a bit. Real quickly, this is what it looks like on radar near Caney. That rotation is picking up quite a bit. Again, we are quite a ways away from the radar site, so we don't have the best view of it, but that's what we're looking at right now in this storm.
Wow, this mezzo is getting strong.
That is a very impressive view. Again, this is Connor Croft, Storm Chaser, with us on this rotating wall cloud that is approaching Caney and Havana, Kansas. This is near Route 75. Is this view south of the storm?
Gotta find a way to see.
There's your tornado warning. He's currently, yeah, he's off to the east of it. So, breaking news again, tornado warning issued on the storm near Caney and Havana. This is also going toward Tyro in southeast Kansas. Again, if you're in this tornado warning, seek shelter, away from windows, lowest floor possible. It is radar indicated, but obviously a huge wall cloud in progress. And honestly, I gotta be honest with you, the inflow has been crazy on this. We have a massive wall cloud. I honestly would not be surprised if we got something that was a little bit on the stronger side with this sort of storm. This is definitely a really crazy looking supercell at the surface, and it has a strong pocket of rotation right now. Again, this is what it looks like live on radar as Connor repositions again. This is what we're talking about here, this area of rotation that's near Caney and just southwest of Havana. This is currently an area that we're watching for very closely. Here's your hook gecko. That's the inflow going into the storm, and this right here will be where we're watching for that tornado to develop. That is near the Caney area. So again, seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible if you are included in this tornado warning. Let's we'll go back to Connor here in a second, but again, this is let me zoom out a little bit. This is the storm. So again, it's pretty far southeast of Wichita. It's going to be going toward Coffeyville and Independence. So those two spots in particular, you need to be very mindful of this storm because it does have the potential to produce a tornado at any time. Again, Connor is in the perfect position right now in the storm, so we'll have a great view of whatever happens as long as it does end up developing. That is a large wall cloud that's on this storm. I believe Connor is about to... Yeah, we're about to see something here, so... Going back to him. Wow. Once you guys see this, it's... large wall cloud still.
I don't see anything imminent right now, but it still looks good.
You'll show it again here in a second. That right there, large wall cloud. And don't mistake the raindrops on his windshield for a tornado or a funnel cloud. There are some there. By the way, this is what the storm looks like on radar in the latest radar scan. Again, still some rotation right now. This definitely has a chance to produce a tornado. Hook Gecko pretty clean. Again, it's a discrete supercell, so there should be no problems with that end of things. Obviously, the wall cloud, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's a huge wall cloud. It's pretty flat overall. So if there is any tornado, we are going to have a pretty primed view of it here with Connor Croft. Caney? Is it Caney? Again, if you're just tuning in, this is a tornado warning in parts of southern and southeast Kansas near the Havana in the Caney area. Again, this is currently a storm that is a large wall cloud. As you can see in the middle of your screen, that is a wall cloud there, and this could very well produce a tornado at any time. Again, if you're in this tornado warning, seek shelter. If you're in Caney, Havana,
Just
or
to the north
Tyro,
of the
away from
rotation.
windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. Again, this is really the most impressive view that we've had on any of these storms thus far today. This one is really looking crazy.
Still not seeing any real focused area of spin.
By the way, this is what it looks like on radar in the latest scan. This says at 5:54 p.m. Notice the rotation. It's right back in here near the Caney area, near Owen. It's still a little bit broad here near the surface, so there's obviously no imminent tornado right now, but we're watching this storm in live time. So if there is a tornado, we'll probably see it somewhere in here. It's not rain wrapped at this point. So, again, probably see whatever it is here in a few minutes. But, again, this is currently moving to the east through the Caney area. Havana is getting the brunt of the hail. So there's a lot more hail in that area right now.
Storm is angry.
Hail up to $50, maybe even ping pong ball sized hail is a possibility. Live radar feed will be at the bottom right of your screen, and then Storm Chaser again in the middle of your screen, obviously. But yeah, if you've been here for a while, it's very impressive. We've been watching this storm live from Connor Croft's perspective for the last 15 minutes or so. Very impressive storm structure, and how it developed so fast is it's impressive. I mean, it went from a very small little wall cloud. It grew very fast, and we had a very strong inflow. And if you look there in the left middle, it looks like there might be a little bit of rotation. Yeah, he's saying it too.
There's the left to right a little bit. I do see a little bit of left to right motion.
There's a little bit of rotation there. A little bit of spin. There's gonna be a tornado. That would be the spot to watch for there on the left middle. Definitely trying.
Not strongly rotating, but I do have a rotating wall cloud here.
Crazy to watch this developing in real time. Yeah, I mean, this is why we have a storm chaser like Connor Croft. I mean, this gives us the eyeballs that we need to be able to watch storms like this develop. And this is, I mean, again, one of the better views that we've had on any storm so far today is definitely this. I mean, this wall cloud blew up again really quickly.
Man, there's a couple different areas.
Right side of your screen, again, bottom right, that's where the radar is.
So big.
This would be where we're watching for a tornado. We actually have some rain developing out in front of it here. That could cause some problems with its development, but we will obviously wait and see what happens here. And no definitive lowering yet. We've had some spin there on the left side of your screen. Just
Good news,
some
we're in a
spin.
good spot. If this thing plants, we're on it.
Now right there, right in the middle is where we're watching for a tornado threat. Would be right there in the middle. This is approaching Caney, Texas. Again, near Havana. If you're in this area, stay away from windows, lowest floor possible. And this is the latest radar scan. What we're watching for right now is this right here for a tornado. We have Caney right here. We have Havana further north. Tyro, if you're in Tyro, definitely stay in your safe place. Rotation on radar, not overly strong right now, but it very well could change as this storm continues to progress further to the east. As it continues to organize itself. Again, middle left of your screen is where we are going to be watching for a potential tornado. We are definitely seeing some spin in here. Looks like we are going to lose him here for just a second. It'll come back in a second. I'm going to quickly check my phone here on these Texas storms. I don't think there's any new updates on these. I will check. Severe thunderstorm warning that was ongoing for Grafford, Texas, has now ended. No severe thunderstorm warnings right now in any active storms, really. We have a couple left, but they are from previous storms. They just haven't expired. We do have some rotation attempting to develop, though, near Coleman, Texas, so we'll keep a close eye on that.
Looking at it.
Fire's probably gonna have to move here in a minute.
He's trying. He's gonna cross us.
Still a lot of lifting motion. You can see the clouds lifting there on the left, too.
Keeping a close eye on it. I have an easy road option to get back ahead of it, so.
By the way, this storm is moving east at 20 miles per hour, so it wouldn't be hard for him to get out in front of it. We do have a new tornado warning in Oklahoma. This is on the same storm. It's going to be for those north of the Copen area. Very small area. I don't really know if there's much of a population in this area. Let me check here.
Almost in the bear's cage.
But, definitely a pretty small area here, just north of the Copen area, near Route 75. It's an extension of what we have right now because the rotation is going to be located right in here. It's basically on... wait, am I full screen? No, I'm not. Let's go full screen real quick. This is what we're talking about. It's that circled area near Canny, just north of Copen. So the rotation itself is like right on the border. So they just extended the tornado warning. If you're in this small little area near Copen Lake, definitely make sure that you're seeking shelter away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. Now driving a little bit. We'll still stay with them. I do want to check the velocities again on here. Still some broad rotation here. The main area that I'm looking at right now would be right in here near Owen and Canny. It's on track for Tyro. That would be right in there. And a bit of a hail core right now near the Havana area. And that's currently moving to the east-northeast. Again, this is just southwest of Independence, Kansas. Thanks, Drew. I appreciate it. Glad you found everything helpful. Population of 178, by the way, on that Oklahoma tornado warning. It's on the one. It's again. It's the same storm. It's just an extension. Go back to the tornado warning again. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is near Canny, Kansas, southwest of Independence. And these are the storms surrounding the area. Again, this is the main storm. It is discrete. It has a storm behind it, but it is, for the most part, discrete here. So plenty of opportunity for this to produce a tornado. This is a live view right now on Connor Croft's stream. Rain is picking up a lot. You can hear it hitting his car and windshield. That's where we're watching for a potential tornado.
It's trying. Just can't quite wrap it all the way around.
No problem, Charles. I don't know if I'm going live yet tomorrow. It'll probably be a last-second decision. It really depends on timing.
Trying, man. We're in the perfect spot to see it, too.
I'm not seeing anything quite yet. Again, Connor, as he just said, he's in a really good spot on this storm, and he has been the entire time.
In the bear's cage.
Again, this storm currently is moving to the east along Route 166 here in southern Kansas. But again, if you are anywhere in these two tornado warnings at the bottom right of your screen, this does include Cotton Valley, as well as Owen, the Canny area, Tyro, Havana. And make sure that you're staying in your safe place away from windows on the lowest floor possible. Just in case this does produce a tornado, it's entirely possible that we get something like that as this continues to track to the east. Definitely a dangerous supercell. has had a large wall cloud for quite a while, so we will see if it develops into anything. This storm chaser is literally inside the storm, pretty much. He's pretty close to Canny. Says he's in Peru, but he's definitely not in Peru. So a little bit further east of that.
Alright, time to go.
It's about to freeze here. This is what we're looking at again in the Canny area. Let me go back to here. This is the rotation. Again, these are the winds going away from the radar. These are the winds going toward the radar. No confined area right now of rotation, but this would be what we're watching for. It's going to be near Route 166. And again, this is going to continue to move east, going toward Tyro, and eventually going toward Coffeyville, Kansas. Coffeyville, Deering are not included in this tornado warning, but you would be next in track for this in terms of a main location. So if you're in those areas, again, stay away from windows, lowest floor possible in the tornado warnings. Back over in Coffeyville, stay very weather aware. No reason to seek shelter right now, but definitely keep a close eye on it.
Still not quite organized.
I believe Connor is on 166. I could be wrong. I'm not sure what this roadway is. I believe that is what he's on right now. Or he's on the route just below it. He's freezing up again. A little bit of a low reception area. Yeah, this storm right now moving east at about 20 miles per hour. So again, it's not a super fast moving storm. So it will not be hard for him to catch up to it. Connor, even though he was freezing a lot, I do see a lot of scud cloud activity on the left side of his screen. So he's looking sort of east, but that would be looking north. Keep in mind the sun does set in probably about 45 or maybe about 30 minutes or so, maybe 45 minutes here in Kansas. So we have plenty of time to be able to see this as it does continue to track slowly to the east. By the way, thank you, Jane, for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, here we go. A much better view of the storm here in a second. It is blurry, but very, very good view of the storm right there. You can see it.
Pretty much in front of us when we round this curve. See the rain curtains wrapping.
That is a view of the storm. I believe the wall cloud was on the right there a moment ago. Apparently there's some hail falling. There's a little bit of buffering with the stream. He's getting very close to where the rotation is, but it's gonna be a little bit of buffering here. All right, let's go back to here real quick as he drives through it. This storm, again, currently going toward Tyro. The rotation itself is going to be over 166. The velocities haven't updated, but I would have to say that with what we're seeing on radar right now, the rotation is probably strengthening a little bit. Got a clear inflow into the storm. This is where the tornado would like to sit. That's near Route 166. And again, that is moving toward Tyro.
Probably right in there. See the wrapping rain.
Tornado warning is for Washington County, Oklahoma, by the way. That's the one down here near Cotton Valley. I'm on right here screen. So that's specific county.
It's a big, broad mezzo. Needs to tighten up. Wants to produce.
Let's go back to the live radar as he continues to track the storm. And again, the storm itself right now is producing some $half sized hail in the middle of it, back just southeast of Havana, moving towards Tyro. And the area of rotation that we're going to be watching for, again, would be embedded down. And again, Connor is going to be able to outrace the storm. It's just going to take him a second to get out of the rain. But we're definitely going to see a clearing here in a second on that rotation. So we'll be going back to him momentarily. The rain is falling, though. Very heavy rain. And he's now out of the rain, so we'll have another view of that here in a second. Let's go back to the velocities here. This right here, look at this. This is oh, I'm on the radar screen still. This is interesting. We actually have a little bit of rotation right here. That's southwest of Tyro. Could be a funnel cloud associated with that.
They'll have the tornado warning though.
I'm gonna go back to here for the time being since he's still driving east. But again, we do have a little bit of rotation. Looks like trying to develop. Oh. It's gonna be blurry. I don't know if he's gonna have a better view of it here. No, he's not going to. It kind of blurred out there for a second. But this right here would be the area of rotation that I'm actually more interested in on this storm. That's currently just south of Route 166. It's gonna be moving toward Tyro. Yeah, moving very slow, but that would be what we're looking at for rotation, is right there. Go back to here for a second. Let's see if we have any other reports too on Twitter here. If you're just tuning in, this is a tornado warning that is ongoing in parts of southern Kansas. This storm has had a rotating wall cloud for probably about 25 minutes now. Connor Croft, storm chaser with us. He is on this storm. He is currently repositioning, but he should be getting very close to that here pretty soon. That's moving toward Tyro, Deering, and eventually toward Coffeyville. So again, if you're in this tornado warning near Tyro, Cotton Valley, this is in northern Oklahoma and southern Kansas, definitely make sure that you are seeking shelter away from windows and on the lowest floor possible if you're included in this tornado warning. Thank you, Ashes, by the way, for becoming a moderate velocity member. I appreciate that, and welcome to the velocities. And by the way, Havana is still in this tornado warning, but if you're in Havana, you are okay. The rotation is well off to your south and east now. Looks like all the storm chasers are parking in one area, which means Connor is probably going to pull over here. Wow, wow, look at this. We're about to see it here in a second. Wow. That is where we're going to be having to look for a tornado. There is definitely some rotation there. Lots of left to right now. And I believe you just said that.
I see the left to right. Well, I was buried, like I was literally under it for like the last 10 minutes waiting for it to drop. And I just
a lot of left to right motion right now.
Actually, a bit. Yeah, good. It's gonna come right at us. Hopefully it drops. Literally perfect. Like, we're good here for probably 5 minutes. It's
lots of scud clouds as well.
I don't know what's wrong with it. It's like a vertical funnel right there. Yo, look at that! Look at that thing. It's like literally a vertical funnel. It's like horizontal in the air.
Rafford is pronounced Grayford? Really?
Dude, it's like a horizontal funnel. What in the world is... Bro, what is going on right above us?
And when the screen goes gray, it's some connection issues.
Alright, well that just completely fell apart. Dude, right there. That might, maybe it's... This is done, I think. I think it's cycling. I would watch right here. Might have a...
Huh? Right there, that's impressive.
No tornado.
Doesn't look.
And not really seeing a whole lot of rotation there, but that's where we're looking. He's gonna have a little bit of a grayed out screen here for a second. Again, this is the storm that we're talking about. It's near Tyro. Not seeing really any organized area of rotation on the latest radar scan, which goes along with what he's saying. This would be the area to watch for, though, for some recycling, which essentially means the storm is going to try to redevelop a tornado threat. New tornado warning has just been issued for this storm, and that's going to include Coffeyville.
Because that's cooked.
The previous tornado warning expires in a minute, so that explains why they issued a new one.
I'm from Indiana.
I will go full screen to it here in a second, but again, you can see the very ominous skies, obviously, there. It's a pretty impressive, again, looking supercell. All right, let's go full cam here. This is the new tornado warning. It was just issued. It goes for 45 minutes, so that will go until 7 o'clock Central Time. This is a brand new tornado warning for Coffeyville, Deering, Tyro, and also other areas along Route 166. Make sure that you're seeking shelter away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. If you are in Coffeyville, you do not have to seek shelter immediately, but you should get there as soon as possible. The storm is still probably a good 15 minutes out from you, or at least 15 minutes out, but with that being said, you want to be in your safe place earlier rather than later, just to play it safe, especially if you end up losing power beforehand. That can always be an issue. So again, if you're in this area, make sure that you're seeking shelter away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. Again, Connor Croft's having some connection issues, so we'll go back to him once he is out of that problem. And again, this storm currently moving to the east. Increasing tornado probabilities according to StormNet on the storm that is southwest of the Fort Worth area. This one is specifically closer to Santa Ana and Coleman, so it's still quite a ways away from the DFW area, but that one is currently producing some rotation. And still some connection issues. Definitely some recycling, though, on this. Notice on the velocities here, this is the area of rotation. It's near Tyro. Definitely starting to recycle a little bit. Again, that's going to be going toward Coffeyville in southern parts of Kansas, and we still have a tornado warning ongoing for those in Cotton Valley. That is in northern Oklahoma, so it's right on the border there of Kansas and Oklahoma. And this storm currently moving to the east. Thank you as well, Stephanie, for the generous $4.99 super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate your generosity. And that is the area of rotation. Still having some connection issues, but should be able to get that back in a second. Tornado warning just condensed in Oklahoma. Cotton Valley is still included in the tornado warning. Does not include the Coppin Lake area.
Airway. Yo, look at over there.
Stream back
look at that rising. Look how fast it's rising.
Connor's right on the storm. Wow, look at that. A lot of rising motion right there, too. That is a ton of rising motion. Look at that. Clouds are streaming up. That's when you know there's a strong updraft. Connor's about to turn around, by the way, so we'll see that angle again in a second.
I'm gonna do a U-turn, chat. So
and
now
if you're just tuning in, this is a
what?
tornado warning in southeast parts of Kansas or southern Kansas.
So confused.
Connor Croft, Storm Chaser, that's what we're looking at right now. He is right in the storm or just outside of it. And storm again, the radar is at the bottom right of your screen. There's a ton of rising motion though on that left side. Or middle actually now. Middle right.
Look at the rising. Yeah. Yo, what is that?
Looks like
right
some...
there. To the left, to the left.
Some... At
right
least
above us,
clouds.
basically.
Oh, there's a little bit of rotation there.
Yeah. That's rotating. Yeah.
Got a lot of little eddies up there.
You know, it might do a Deloitte, you never know.
Vertical eddies.
Yeah, for real.
Looks like that is rotating.
That's actually really rotating.
It's very interesting. Right above his head. That's pretty much right above him. That is where there is some... looks like at least some... It's at least scud... It's definitely scud clouds, but... It's trying to rotate.
Dude, now, it falls apart so quick.
Trying though, you can tell it.
Like it fell apart so quick. That was tight for a second. Like, I was like, is this about to plant on us? And then...
Again, if you're just tuning in, this is the tornado warning. It's in southern Kansas near Tyro, Deering, and Coffeyville. Again, Coffeyville, Kansas is in the track of this.
Sorry.
You're good. Thanks.
Hey, what's this thing look like on radar? It, yeah, it fell apart on radar.
I just wonder why they're called swirling eddies and not something else. I couldn't tell you. I always thought it was kind of a weird name too, or just eddies in general.
I'm on my
Why do they
way.
call eddies? Oops. For the meteorological terms, I don't really understand why they call it that. Alright, Connor is now repositioning
Gotta get a little bit east.
on this tornado warning cell. Got some more rising motion on the very far right of your screen too. Again, that's just scud cloud activity. It's not like a tornado or anything, but that's more rising motion on this storm. But he's repositioning. Again, this is the tornado warning. It's currently ongoing for those east of Caney, Kansas. Lightning is actually beginning to pick up a little bit. You can actually see that at the bottom right. This storm, again, has been rotating for quite a while. It's been rotating for probably about half an hour now. It's moving toward Coffeyville, which is back over here east of Tyro near Deering. That is still a good 10 to 15 miles away from this storm. And with that being said, this storm is moving at about 20 miles per hour. So it's probably still a good 15 minutes or so out from there being imminent impacts near the Coffeyville area. But with that being said, you should still be in your safe place away from windows. Lowest floor possible if you're anywhere in this pink polygon. And we also have that tornado warning ongoing near Cotton Valley, Oklahoma. So this one's in northern Oklahoma. This one goes until 6:45. This other tornado warning in Kansas will run until 7 p.m. So again, if you're in this warning, stay in your safe place away from windows on the lowest floor possible. You should not be looking outside for this. And wow, look at all that scud cloud activity right there. Lots and lots of rising motion with this storm. It's a little bit buffering there. Still pretty gray. There you go. All that scud cloud right there. That's all rising motion into the thunderstorm. Pretty cool to see in real time. Lightning off to the left side of your screen, and that's all from the main area of the supercell. Yeah, Connor's driving eastbound. He's not driving toward the storm. He's obviously driving away from it to reposition. And this storm is currently moving to the east. If you're in this tornado warning, and stay in your safe place away from windows on the lowest floor possible. New tornado warning has just been issued for South Coffeyville near Elliott. This is pretty close to Coffeyville, but this is in northern Oklahoma. So 3 tornado warnings on the same storm. Seek shelter away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. If you're included in this warning, that's near Noxie, Elliott, and South Colleyville. We got a brand new tornado warning here. The rotation is located kind of in here. It's kind of in between the 2 warnings. And that's the main reason why they've issued separate tornado warnings here. That would be your rotation. It's going to be right in here. Pretty much on the border there of Kansas and Oklahoma. But again, moving east, going toward Coffeyville, and in parts of far northern and northeastern Oklahoma. Again, stay in your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible. Interior room of your home or building. Again, this is moving to the east. This does include South Coffeyville. That's the main area included. We do have a little bit of an area of circulation trying to develop right now just southeast of Tyro. So that'll be something to watch for. Again, Connor Croft right now is losing a bit connection, but once we have better connection, we'll go back to him. And real quickly, I just want to update you on a few of the other storms. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning in western Missouri, near or just north of Pittsville. That's producing quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. A slew of thunderstorms that are developing right now, anywhere from about Perry, Oklahoma, back into the Magnum area. That's mainly going to be some small hail and gusty winds. A couple of those storms are severe. This is the live camera view in Oklahoma City. Notice there's a lot of cloud cover there. I'll have a better view there later. And then a flash flood warning for the DFW area. This is the ranch area. This is in German, Texas, in the ranch. And again, notice a lot of cloud cover there. No really supercells there. And then we also have a severe thunderstorm warning near Santa Ana with 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. This storm really not rotating a whole lot right now. We've had a lot of problems with rotation on this one. It's been rotating for probably about 2 hours, but really no low-level rotation with that. We'll still keep a close eye on it. We also got another little severe thunderstorm warning developing back over near Post, Texas. That has quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. And then your 2 severe thunderstorm warnings back over in Oklahoma. This one near Hobart has actually produced tennis ball-sized hail near Lone Oak, Oklahoma. And Magnum also dealing with a ton of lightning and as well as the potential for up to golf ball-sized hail. Notice the radar Omega lightning detection here. Anywhere from Magnum back into Hobart, there's actually a lot of lightning there. So very electrified storms there. And we got a lot more storms developing west of Oklahoma City. Those also have a ton of lightning. All right, let's go back to Connor. He is on that tornado warning cell. Bit better of a view here of that storm now.
Right here.
And again, this is the tornado warning in southern Kansas, northern Oklahoma. That is currently near Coffeyville. That rotation east of Post. Let me check. We're losing Connor again. Yes, we do have a little bit of rotation there near Post. Not an imminent threat, but we'll watch it closely. And that's the rotation at the bottom right of your screen. It's on the border of Kansas and Oklahoma. Right here. It's near, gonna be approaching Coffeyville in about 10 to 15 minutes.
Like, that's wrapping so much right there. But I'm getting...
There's gonna be a lot of, buffering here.
I'm getting
Looks like actually on the latest velocity scans, again, that's the rotation right there. Just trying to tighten up. That's northwest of Noxie, Oklahoma, and west-southwest of Coffeyville. And this storm right now moving to the east. Should get a little bit better here in a second.
Might be trying to wrap up right there.
Right there. Where the rotation is in this supercell. I think we're gonna lose him again. Yep. Kind of in the middle of nowhere, so it's hard to get cellular reception. But again, that's right there's your rotation. It's near Noxie. That'll be going toward Coffeyville, South Coffeyville, and West Coffeyville. Is there a North Coffeyville as well? There's a lot of Coffeyville areas here. Looks like just south and west. But again, if you're in this area, stay in your safe place. Again, this is in Coffeyville, Kansas. And not far from the Noxie area of Oklahoma, which again, all these 3 different pink polygons are tornado warnings. They are 3 separate tornado warnings right now in southern Kansas and as well as back into northern Oklahoma. Again, this storm is currently tracking to the east. This is your pocket of rotation right here. I don't think we have him back yet. Oh. We'll come back in a second. It might not last long, but you'll be able to see it here in a second. I think. Yeah, there you go. That's the storm right there. You can see the rotation there at the top of your screen, but it's going to go away again. He's basically right next to the rotation. And this is not far from Noxie, Texas. It's going to be going toward Colleyville in Kansas. Again, right on the border. I don't know if he's back yet. There you go. It's a little bit better. That's what we're watching for, right in the middle there. The storm's been struggling though. We haven't had really a whole lot of like low-level winds like below the clouds. I mean, we've had a wall cloud. We had a wall cloud for quite a while. It's just struggling to come together.
Hail.
And we're gonna lose him again. Yeah, we lost him again. I am not. No, I'm not buffering. That's the stream. That's just purely Connor Croft's stream. It's not me. Okay. Look at that. He literally just turned around and he drove right into a hailstorm. I mean, he barely moved. Tons of hail and rain falling. It's a little bit zoomed in, but I mean, man, he literally turned around for like, I mean, that was like a jump scare. Look to the right. I mean, there's nothing there. You'll see it in a second. It was crazy. I mean, there's nothing there. Yeah, it legitimately just went from, looked like, you know, just cloudy skies, and all of a sudden he drove right into the hail and rain. Like a lot of half-inch sized hail, perhaps.
Yeah, sorry about the... I think just that area is really bad. I don't know. That little area right there is just not good for service.
Alright, let's go back to the tornado warning screen. Again, Connor's just in a bad area when it comes to reception, so there will be some buffering naturally. But this is, again, the tornado warning that we have ongoing. If you're just tuning in, the Cotton Valley tornado warning has just been canceled, or expired. It might have actually expired. Trying to think. Oh, no, it was canceled. That went until 6:45. But we still have 2 tornado warnings ongoing. One for Coffeyville and West Coffeyville back through Tyro. And then the other one back over at Elliott, Noxie, and South Coffeyville. Again, that is the rotation. It's been trying to develop. It just has not. Hopefully it stays that way. But, again, Connor's right on this storm. So if it does develop, we will obviously be on it. And we'll be watching it very closely. All right, I'm going to real quickly go use the restroom. I'll be back in like 60 seconds. Stay tuned. I'm going to keep it on Connor. Be right back.
Sorry for the bad service there, guys. I know that was like the most important part of the chase there. I couldn't do anything about it. Hopefully, eventually, we'll get Starlink. But even then, it might have sucked because we're under a storm. Big lightning on this, though. Big hail on this, probably. Big hail just to my north. Big lightning, too. Yeah, man, I'm mad about... Like, I had no service. Like, Verizon still has no service. This is ridiculous.
Alright, we're back. Hey, if you're just tuning in, this is a live tornado warning near Deering, Coffeyville, Noxie. Again, this is in southern Kansas and northern Oklahoma. Again, this storm right now moving off to the east at about 20 miles per hour. So, as I mentioned before, Connor is on this storm chasing it. And, yeah, he's not going to have a problem out racing it, but he has gotten caught up a couple of times in the heavy rainfall and obviously the hail that's associated with the strong supercell. Tornado warning has been condensed. It no longer includes Tyro. No longer includes Tyro, but it does include areas in Coffeyville, South Coffeyville, Knoxville. Again, those areas right now in particular still in this tornado warning. The circle I have in the middle is the area of rotation. And if you're in this tornado warning, stay in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible. No rotation really on that Santa Ana storm. That one's been a lot of just wind. Oh, Connor's driving through like a field of hail right now. I'm gonna go back to him full cam. You can see if you look at the roadway, there's a ton of hail there. A lot of it's falling like actively. A lot of lightning to the left side of your screen. The sun, I believe, is set in the last 10 minutes or so. The skies are going to get a little bit darker naturally, but a lot of hail there on the roadways. Santa Ana, that storm's been like that for a while. Connor's getting out of the hail now, but that was in the hail core. Let's go back to... Oh, I think I clicked the wrong screen. There we go. Connor's getting out of that hail right now, and he's probably going to be getting to a new position. Fun fact, I just spilt some water. One moment, please. And if you're just tuning in, this is a tornado warning that is in effect for southern Kansas and as well as northern Oklahoma. Connor's getting a little bit better of a view of the storm right now.
Up here.
I wish I had more napkins here. I'll be right back.
Need a clearing to look at it. So.
Now right there, that's where we're looking for that potential tornado. Alright, I spilled something on my keypad. Not like my keyboard, but...
Rough. Kansas. Yeah, this terrain's rough.
I do gotta say, it's kind of surprising for
Kansas.
it being Kansas.
For crying out loud.
It's been actually kind of hard to get like it's like the openings are not as easy to get. There's only been a few good openings. He's back into like a bunch of trees. I would imagine Kansas is mostly like, you know, flat, which I think I mean, most of it is, but you know, some of these areas right along the border aren't. And yeah, if you're just tuning in, this is the tornado warning. So that rotation that is embedded here, it's gonna be located just to the southwest of Coffeyville. We've actually lost the hook on this storm quite a bit. Back to Connor.
I got it somewhat of a view. Looks like it looks like the hill gets even higher.
That is the storm
though,
right
so
there.
I'm gonna keep going a little bit.
One of the better views that we've had of this storm. Not really seeing any evident lowering, but that would be the area that we'd have to watch for a lowering.
Most of the rotation is on the southern end of the storm here. It's kind of a broad mesocyclone just off to the right there. Nothing's
Clean up on aisle 2 is good. Sorry, I spilled like a drink on my keyboard pad. We're good now. Yeah, this is the live radar feed. This is the tornado warning again for Coffeyville, Kansas, near South Coffeyville. We've lost a lot of the hook echo is really diminished, and we don't really have one anymore, but the rotation would be associated with areas just south of Deering. Now, again, this has been rotating for about an hour now or so. We have yet to have a tornado confirmed, and obviously Connor Croft has been literally on the storm the entire time. I know Brandon Kopic, who's on Radar Omega, I mean, he caught up to the storm late. His icon is kind of at the bottom right of your screen. You kind of see in that small little area, but actually I'll go back full cam for a second. But I mean, this is Brandon Kopic. He's just located south of Deering. I'm pretty sure a similar area to where Connor is, but yeah, they've both been on this storm for quite a while. We've yet to have anything confirmed. Obviously, it doesn't mean we won't see anything. It just, you know, for the last hour, we have yet to have anything confirmed on this. A little bit of connection issues. I'm going to go full cam to him because he has a pretty good view of it, but has some buffering here. And that gray that you're seeing there, that's just buffering. But it'll get better in a second. Eventually. Having some buffering issues. Tornado warning was just canceled, by the way, for northern Oklahoma. So the only tornado warning that we have on this is the one that's in Kansas. Just a little update there. That's the storm that we're looking at right now that has the potential to produce a tornado. And we're about to lose him again. I'll keep him at the bottom right. Hopefully doesn't buffer too much more. He's been buffering a lot. Again, Kansas in this particular area is pretty rural, so there's not a whole lot of cell towers. And the tornado warning has been condensed for Coffeyville, or did it get canceled? Looks like it's just been, I don't know. I think it has been canceled. Looks like the tornado warning was just canceled for the Coffeyville area. So we no longer have a tornado warning on this, but there is still the chance, obviously. If it's able to recycle, we could see something. But as I mentioned before, we've been on the storm for approximately an hour now and has yet to produce anything. It's been, has had some times of rotation in the clouds, but we haven't really seen anything definitive. Real quickly, as Connor tries to connect again, we do have an ongoing severe thunderstorm warning for those back over in the Fort Scott area, and as well as the Nevada area near Liberal. That's in western parts of Missouri, eastern parts of Kansas. 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds are possible, and associated with that, it could be some large hail. New severe thunderstorm warning north of the Oklahoma City metro. This is going to be located near the Crescent area, near Guthrie, Interstate 35, as well as in the path of this. That is for 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds and quarter-sized hail. We do have a cyclone port on radar Omega that is actually able to see this storm. Not fully, but that would be what we're looking at there. Real quickly, this is Connor Croft's POV. Look at that huge rain shaft that he's going toward.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what it is about the service here, but there's
huge rain shaft right there. A lot of lightning
too.
There's
no Verizon in Southwest Kansas, and AT&T is doing the best it can to keep us
really
online.
Impressive view though, that thunderstorm. I'm gonna stay on him for just a second. When I say a second, I meant a literal second. But this is a cyclone port on radar Omega. Basically, the live cams that they have on radar Omega, which show you like the temperature, the dew point, pressure, all sorts of stuff. It's really cool. This is the current view out of Oklahoma City near Norman, so just outside of Oklahoma City, just south of there. So again, plenty of cloud cover there. Once these storms get a bit closer, we will have a better view of that. If you were just tuning in and didn't already hear, this storm near Hobart, which has been weakening a little bit, was producing up to tennis ball sized hail as of about 25 minutes ago. There was a tennis ball sized hail report near Granite and Hobart, and that was the maximum hailstone size of the day, so that actually ended up verifying. We do still have two other severe thunderstorm warnings in Texas. One of which is back over near the Jayton area, east of Post. Pretty rural area of central Texas that's moving east. Main concern is quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. We also have another severe thunderstorm warning near the Santa Ana area, and as well as going toward Brownwood. This storm in particular is producing the potential for half-dollar-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. That is moving to the east right now, but overall, no imminent tornado risk on this storm. And I know on the velocities it looks crazy, but a lot of that rotation that you see is well off the storm, so not an imminent tornado risk, but will still be something to watch for as it moves further to the east and as the lower level winds do pick up a little bit more. And that might be enough to produce a tornado. We'll have to wait and see. But the low level winds have been quite weak across Texas to this point. Another storm near Olney. We actually have a lot. Wow, look at that. This is the cyclone port as well. This is the cyclone port out of German, Texas on radar Omega. Really impressive view right now of that storm. Really cool clouds as well. Again, you can look at all these live cams called Cyclone Ports on Radar Omega. You can download the Radar Omega app with the top link in the description below. It's on iOS and Android. Highly recommend it. It's only $8.99 on the iOS and Android store, but it is the best $8.99 that you'll spend on a weather app. It has all sorts of features, including the Cyclone Ports. It has live radar feed, tons of different radars that you can look at as well. It has computer models, which can help make a forecast, or if you want to look at the future, great computer model options on there, like the HRRR. Also has satellite imagery and much more. Again, you can download Radar Omega with the top link in the description below. Appreciate them sponsoring today's live stream. The storm that we're looking at here is right out here on the horizon. We have this like tailing cloud. Let me take off Connor for a second because he's actually blocking a little bit. But that tailing cloud is like right here. It tails out a little bit further. Trying to do this like full cam. 1 second. I can't do full cam. But there's a tail cloud on the end. It's kind of hard to show because my screen's kind of blocking it. But that right there, again, this would be the storm back there. That's in German, Texas. Yeah, not severe, but it's definitely an interesting storm to watch on the cyclone ports. We still have a flash flood warning as well for the DFW area, including Dallas-Fort Worth. That goes until about 8 o'clock tonight. So keep that in mind. And we got plenty of storms ongoing still. We got 5 severe thunderstorm warnings that are stretching anywhere from Texas back into Kansas and Missouri. So a pretty large area still. All right. If you have any questions, by the way, feel free to leave those in the chat. Obviously, it's been a busy last hour with the tornado warning that we had up in Kansas and Oklahoma. And again, we're still monitoring multiple storms, including this one near Brownwood, which has the potential, again, for some large hail and damaging winds. So once again, moving off to the east right now. Norman will not see any storms until probably at least another hour or two. Those storms are pretty slow moving. Roof shingles peeled, light damage. Or was that Dakota? How big is the chance of this going tornadic? This is near the Brownwood area. I would still say it's relatively low. Imminently, I don't see a tornado risk happening with this. There's still a lot of problems with the low-level winds in this area. Again, notice we do have a hook here, but it's been like that for probably about 2.5 hours now, and we haven't yet to have really any sort of tornado risk actually materialize out of this. And this is where the hook is, and this is where the quote-unquote rotation is comparatively. It's nowhere near the hook, and this is usually where tornadoes like to sit, is right about there near 67 and 84. So we really just don't have anything there right now in terms of imminent tornado risk. Now, we could see one develop as this moves closer to like Comanche, for example, but it has definitely been a struggle thus far for there being a tornado with that storm. It's definitely been a very, very minimalistic activity with that particular storm when it comes to rotation. Now, it's been producing hail and wind for quite a while. It has not been producing again, an imminent tornado risk. And Connor actually has a view of that storm back up in Kansas. Let's go back to him here. We have a better view here in a second once he turns around. Yeah, we actually have storms merging here. That could produce a tornado risk. There's not really any rotation here right now, but that right there.
No, it's not bad. Well, apparently it's bad. It just went out. But like, for some reason I had 1 bar.
A storm merger could increase the tornado risk.
While I was on,
we do have 2 storms that come right to your screen near Coffeyville, Kansas. But again, both of these attempting to merge.
So I lost like everybody.
That's freaking insane, dude.
I was back up to like almost like 900.
How's it going, Audrey?
You might need to get a new antenna. I'm running a new antenna now for my boost. I bought the upgrade.
Oh, I need to buy that. I forgot.
Yeah, dude, it's like $29, bro. I don't know if it actually helped or not, but
tornado threat is very low for the DFW area.
We're gonna watch the storm merger.
Carbon
here.
Radar Omega has a one-time
right
payment if you get it on iOS and Android of $8.99, and then there are subscriptions options, but you do not have to get a subscription. It's an optional add-on, but it does give you more features on Radar Omega. I 100% recommend even just the base version at $8.99. It's a fantastic weather app. And again, you can get it on iOS and Android with the top link in the description below. I do highly recommend it. As a good reminder, make sure to hit the like button down below if you've not already.
Guys, we're almost up to
make sure to
1,000
subscribe to the
likes. Maybe
channel
we
if
can
you're
hit
new
it.
here. We do live streams and video forecasts all the time. Make sure to subscribe. Click the bell icon down below as well so you're notified with the latest live streams and videos. I do appreciate everybody tuning into this live stream today. Hope everybody's staying safe as these storms continue to roll through Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. Luckily, we've only had that one tornado warned cell, which is this one that we're on right now, which Connor's on. But other than that, everything stayed pretty mature so far. Obviously, the tornado risk still goes through about 8 o'clock tonight, maybe 9 o'clock or so. And that tornado risk does exist for both this part of Kansas and northern Oklahoma, and as well as back into parts of north central Texas and even into north Texas.
Nice little shelf there. Yeah, we're about to get a storm.
Thank you, Brandon, for becoming a moderate velocity member. I appreciate that. Welcome to the velocities.
This is how it works.
Thank you. Welcome. Appreciate your support. We have 4 new members today. Appreciate all the new members. Helps make all this stuff possible, including the live streams, the videos, everything. Appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you. Yeah, Radar Omega is fantastic. I really can't recommend it enough, especially if you're a weather enthusiast. It literally has everything that you need, and it's all in one app. And just kind of showing you here real quick. But again, it has the satellite imagery, which I don't have on right now, but you can put on the satellite. It's nighttime. I would have to put on the infrared. But the live radar feed, you have all sorts of options at the bottom right, including velocities, correlation coefficient, which helps to detect debris being lifted up into the atmosphere. Got 4 different types of computer models, like the convection allowing ones, like the HRRR, the regional, the global, tropical, if there's ever any tropical stuff. And again, you got all the outlooks on the left side of your screen too. I'm not sure if it's on the screen. Yeah, it is. So on the left side of the screen, you got all sorts of stuff you can do here. You can customize the weather alerts. It's, again, a fantastic weather app. Highly recommend it. Again, it's the top link in the description below. Maybe I'll go to the infrared imagery, actually. On the mesoscale. I have to change this to, let's go to continental United States here. This is the infrared imagery. You can actually see all the thunderstorms, how they've evolved here. This is all cold cloud tops aloft, but these are the thunderstorms. You'll see them a bit better once we get closer to like 2 or 3. I want too many frames here. These are the first storms that developed right down in here. You can kind of explode right here. And then this is your other area of storms that have exploded. This is the last 21 frames. This will help a little bit better, but there you go. Those are the storms that have exploded. It's pretty cool to see on the infrared imagery how they've all evolved. Yeah, if you want to download Radar Omega, it is the top link in the description below. Go back to Connor.
All right, chat.
Connor's kind of at this point losing. Obviously, he's lost most of the daylight, so we're only gonna be able to see so much here from here on out. But I'll keep it here for at least another minute or 2.
Weird could happen, like something totally weird could happen.
There is a computer version, yes. You can get Radar Omega on the computer. I have it on my computer. Thank you, Belial, for gifting 5 members to the channel. I really appreciate that. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you. Set some hearts in the chat for Belial. And also, if you got yourself a membership from Lyle, make sure to thank him in the chat and put some hearts in the chat again for Belial. Appreciate that a lot. Thank you. And also, thank you for becoming a maximum velocity member. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Welcome to the velocities. That is 10 new members today. New wall cloud is trying to form near Coffeyville, but it seems like too much cold air, lack of inflow. Yeah, I'm not sure what the... Let me check what the temperatures are. I don't think the temperatures are an issue here. This is Coffeyville. They're not really a huge issue. The dew point would be more of an issue, honestly. But dew points are right near 60 right now. They'll probably drop off a little bit, but temperatures are in the low 60s. There's just not a whole lot of buoyancy. There's a lot of issues with this environment today. By no means was this going to be a tornado outbreak, but like there was definitely a chance for at least a couple of tornadoes. And it's been quite an issue with the overall setup that we've had. But if these storms merge, it's entirely possible that we get some sort of elevated tornado risk. They have not really merged yet. But one thing I actually see interesting is that there is some rotation developing down here that's just southeast of Tyro. So a little bit of rotation developing there. That's in the northern parts of Oklahoma. Thanks, Belial. I really appreciate your generosity. Thank you. I can help. Yeah, that's a new area of rotation, again, just southeast of Tyro. That'll be moving toward Coffeyville, Route 169 as well. So that's on the back side of this storm now. So it's on the new storm. Let's go. Apparently there's a wall cloud on this.
Yeah, it's scuddy. Definitely a wall cloud.
It's
right
hard to
there.
see, but the lightning flashes might help. Again,
warmer.
Connor Croft is on the storm. There's a flash, but apparently there's a wall cloud there. But hard to see with the being nighttime.
Yeah, doesn't look bad.
Again, right here, this is the new pocket of rotation that's attempting to develop. That is just south of Route 166. It's right on the Kansas and Oklahoma border, so we are going to keep a close eye on that. Quick update for Oklahoma. Severe storms still developing. We have a huge line of storms right now, stretching from the new Cordell area all the way back through Stillwater. These storms are capable of potential for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and some quarter-sized hail. Main threat for damaging winds and hail is with this cluster of storms and also the one back near the new Cordell area, north and west of the Oklahoma City metro. And we do have a live cam from Radar Omega that is outside or in Norman, Oklahoma. You can actually see the flashes of lightning there in the background, and it is nighttime here. So that I think the cyclone port earlier was not updated, but this is updated. So again, in the background there are some flashes of lightning. And then over in German, Texas, look at that. Sheesh. That is a shelf cloud right there. This is over in German, Texas. We're probably going to watch this roll in. That's impressive. That is an entire shelf cloud here on the cyclone port in German, Texas. And again, you can watch this on the Radar Omega app. Actually, 9 of you are right now watching this on Radar Omega at the top left. You can't see it, but that's actually up to 11 now. That is a shelf cloud if I've ever seen one. That is impressive. Thank you, Alex, by the way, for the $5 super chat. I appreciate your generosity. Thank you very much. That is a really impressive shelf cloud. I should get Culver's again. My plan actually tonight is to get a McDonald's quarter pounder. I have a very long homework assignment tonight that I have to do, like, tonight. I'm not going to do it, obviously, right now, but I have to do a derivation. I can't remember what the derivation was for, but it was like a super long derivation for dynamic meteorology. So, I can't wait to do that. Not wait. Just kidding. I can definitely wait. I don't remember what the derivation is, but it's like 2 pages long, so. Good times. See the lightning in the shelf cloud again on the right side of your screen there. This is again in Texas. This is on the German, Texas area. So again, this is kind of north central Texas. And again, this is on the Radar Omega app on the cyclone port, which again are their live cams. And you can actually see the temperature here right now. It's only 55 degrees. And it tells you all this data, by the way. 55 degrees Fahrenheit. The dew point is 55, which makes sense. It's 100% humidity. Wind is coming out of it's going east, I believe. I think that's what that means. East, northeast. I'm guessing the wind is coming out of the west. What that means. Pressure right now around, that's definitely not 965, but yeah. Temperature has definitely dropped here. Thank you, Alex, again for a $10 super chat. I appreciate your generosity. Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate it. That $10 super chat will probably go toward my McDonald's quarter pounder. Good investments. I'm in college, so I can procrastinate on homework. It's all right. Matt, you can see at the top left of your screen, you can't see it, but there's a number like up here that says how many people are watching. It's a very small corner. Currently, about 15 of you are watching on the Radar Omega app, this shelf cloud rolling through Texas. I thought this was like a campsite or something, but what is this thing shaking right here? Is it just a reflection? I cannot tell what that is. Like, it's shaking. I don't know what that is. Do I have a TikTok? Yes, I do. The links to all that stuff is in the description. Our TikTok, for the most part right now, is just me re-uploading our YouTube videos, but they are condensed a little bit. But yeah, I do try to put a lot more like short-form content that's like 60 to 90 seconds on there. I just haven't had much time to do it recently. I'll have more time going into this weekend. There is a little bit of rotation, by the way, on the storm that's back up near Wichita. Again, Connor Croft is on this, or not Wichita, sorry, near Colleyville, in northern Oklahoma and southern Kansas. It's approaching Coffeyville. Again, there's a storm merger happening here, or it's attempting to happen. So if that happens, we very well could get a little bit more of an increased tornado risk. And what we would be watching for is that area just to the southwest of Coffeyville. That is currently moving to the east. And we got a huge area of storms developing across Oklahoma. And most of these will be damaging wind producers, but there will also be plenty of lightning and maybe some hail as well. New severe thunderstorm warning for Brownwood, Texas. This is for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and a little bit of large hail. Again, still no tornado risk on that, at least for right now. That, again, could change at any time. And again, this is your massive shelf cloud that is moving through German, Texas. Definitely aliens, thank you. Looks like a glider. Norman will probably get storms in about an hour or two. Friendly reminder, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. Click the bell icon as well so you're notified with the latest videos and live streams. This is a live view, the cyclone port out of German, Texas. Again, shelf cloud is there in the background. Storm Prediction Center just put out their new updates, which is definitely interesting. Let's go over that real quick. We're going to go... I don't even know. We'll stay on this screen. That's fine. This is the latest update from the Storm Prediction Center. Not going to do the whole screen here, but this here is your tornado risk. It has been downgraded to a 2% risk in both central Texas, even parts of North Texas, and as well as back over into southeast Kansas. So two very small risks. Our wind threat is still the same pretty much. It's a little bit condensed. Hail threat has also been downgraded to no longer any hatched areas, which means most hail should behave itself and will probably be under 2 inches diameter. But with that being said, we very well could still see an isolated storm or two produce up to golf ball sized or 2-inch sized hail. And that could obviously cause some damage. And I will put that on Radar Omega if it updated. Let me check. Yeah, it has updated. So here's the latest update from the Storm Prediction Center. A little bit better of a view of it. But the slight risk still includes Dallas, or just west of Dallas near Fort Worth, all the way back through Brownwood, Killeen, Waco, Abilene, all the way back into Bartlesville and Tulsa. Main concern, again, across this entire area tonight will be large hail and damaging winds. The tornado risk is this. I'll go ahead and show it a little. Oh, tornado risk has not updated. Never mind. Once the tornado risk updates, I'll show you. But the tornado risk is essentially condensed to areas near Brownwood. It's pretty much this little quadrant here. West of Waco, south of Fort Worth. Then we also have a small 2% region back up near the storm that has been tornadic for quite a while. So if that's able to recycle, that'll definitely be something to watch for. All right, here's that shelf cloud. It's approaching. If it was daytime, this will be way, way, way cooler to see. But you can still see the shape of that shelf cloud. There's a very bright flash of lightning. North Carolina will have a threat of severe weather on Saturday. But it's a low risk overall. I think it's a marginal threat for you. Yeah, the rotation near Coffeyville, it's still trying to come together. It's not really that strong, though. It's still pretty broad. Wow, look at, you can actually see the cloud base right there. That was impressive. That flash of lightning. Thank you, Shane, for becoming a maximum velocity member. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Welcome to the Velocities. We have now 11 new members today. Thank you, Shane. No problem, Jordan. How's it going, Snow? Watching since it was before it was named Max Velocity. We changed our name back in, I think, June of 2022. So it's been almost about 2 years now. Kind of crazy to think. We were North Texas Weather Center before that. And we never really did. Or we stopped doing North Texas weather exclusively. We started doing nationwide stuff, so I had to change my name to something. Hey, you, Audrey. Stillwater storm producing a ton of lightning. Yeah, there's a ton of lightning. Let me get real quickly. This is the cyclone port in Norman. Not sure if we're going to be able to see a whole lot of it since the storm is still a little bit of a distant away, but the lightning would be back here in the background, and I think I just saw some there. It's still quite a ways away. Once these storms get closer to Norman, we'll have a better view of it. But there's a ton of lightning throughout Oklahoma. And you can see the lightning strikes on Radar Omega here, anywhere from New Cordell back into Perry. Plenty of lightning right now. And the storm near Brownwood had a lot of lightning at one point, but it's definitely not nearly as much. Actually, we do have rotation coming together now near Brownwood. There's now some rotation coming together down here. So for the first time, we actually have a little bit of rotation on this storm. It's been struggling for a while, but that rotation's definitely attempting to come together. That's again near Brownwood. This is heading eastbound. It's going to be going toward Route 84. So if you're in this area, be mindful. We might get a tornado warning on that at some point. Here's the shelf cloud again. Looks like we're losing a lot of the lighting and lightning there. Yeah, this storm here near Brownwood, we are getting a little bit of rotation on. I'm not concerned about a tornado risk in Weatherford at this point. I think the risk is going to stay extraordinarily low to near zero for tonight. Even tomorrow morning, I think that risk is really low. I think anywhere in the DFW Metroplex is in that same boat. Most exciting evening ever. Why is that? Any risk in Missouri? Risk overall is pretty low. It's primarily going to be confined to, like, southwest Missouri. Let's see if we have any other... I'm just kind of curious if the shelf clouds moved through yet. It's in German, Texas. This is, again, a live cam. The lighting is very minimal, so we're not going to be able to really see much, but if there's enough lightning, we might be able to see the shelf cloud again. I see the base a little bit, but it's pretty hard to see. Yeah, we're not going to get much there. Let's go back up to the Coffeyville storm again. A little bit of rotation. Like, it's not much. It's really not enough to be concerned about it right now. But we're definitely still going to watch it closely. That rotation's trying to come together. Again, that's near Coffeyville and Route 169. That'll be approaching South Coffeyville over the next few minutes. And this is in northern Oklahoma and southern Kansas. What radar program am I using? You can download Radar Omega with the top link in the description below on iOS and Android. That is what I'm currently using. Highly recommend it. The risk in Tulsa is relatively low tonight. Your channel is amazing. I've been using Radar Omega, which I highly recommend to everybody. Yep, I highly recommend it. Great app. Still got some strong storms north and west of Oklahoma City. Again, none of these are severe at this point. at least the ones that are north of Oklahoma City. And the other one that's back west of Oklahoma City, that warning is pretty much done. So we're actually done with the current severe weather risk, but most of these storms still remain strong. It's very possible, again, that these storms do re-strengthen and perhaps become severe again with damaging winds and large hail, but they have definitely weakened at least below severe limits for the time being. And then the storm near Brownwood, again, this storm is rotating. We're still keeping a close eye on it. And let's line this up with the radar again, and not really seeing much anymore. We had a little brief time there near Brownwood of a little bit of rotation, but it's not really much right now. Thank you, Melissa, for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. Coffeyville is okay right now. Again, I'm keeping a close eye on that one too. Coffeyville and the Brownwood storms are really the two main ones that are currently remaining that have any, potential of producing a tornado in the short term. Friendly reminder, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. It's free to do. It's the red button down below. Make sure to click the bell icon below as well so you're notified with the latest live streams. You're currently 220 subscribers from 111 or 112,000 subscribers. Man, it's hard to say 100,000s because that's still kind of crazy to think we're that high. Yeah, I'll go back to Coffeyville in a minute. The latest velocity scan as of 7:10. That's still contamination. It's not really much. Let's see. We're in between a few different radar sites. I'm just trying to see which one would be better here. Really, this is our best one. We're in between 4 different ones, but it's still, that's all contamination right there. Got a hail core right here, which is messing with the velocities. See that hail actually. You actually see that hail on the correlation coefficient. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this severe thunderstorm watch, at least part of it was just canceled. Go back to the live radar here. Here's the live view near Norman, Oklahoma on Radar Omega's Cyclone Port. Look at the bottom right of your screen. It looks like there's like an entire football team going into that Casey's place. I'm pretty sure those are all storm chasers. I just want to point this out real quick. This is Connor Croft's stream. I'm pretty sure for the most part, all those people are storm chasers. There's a ton of people that just went in there a second ago. Pretty funny. All right, let's go back up to Coffeyville real quick. Yeah, Coffeyville storm still struggling to rotate. I mean, we had a storm merger, but it hasn't really materialized into anything. Again, that circle that I have there, that would be where any rotation is, and the rotation's still pretty weak at this point. It's really not that definitive. That's pretty much where we're at on this storm at this point. Where's Connor heading? I have no clue where Connor's going. I haven't really been listening in. But I'm assuming that he's probably going to position himself for tomorrow pretty soon. Because, I mean, a lot of the storm activity that we have ongoing, a lot of this, for the most part, is going to become one large cluster of storms, and that'll be mostly just a lot of lightning, maybe some damaging winds, perhaps some isolated large hail, but that tornado risk is really going to diminish very quickly. And the main reason why we went live today was for the tornado risk, and there's still a little bit of a tornado risk remaining, but it's definitely not that high. Again, a lot of contamination on that storm. We actually might have a little bit of rotation on this storm, though. That's back over here. Maybe a little bit of something there. It's still not overly impressive, but there might be a little bit there, unless that is also contamination. We definitely have the side lobe contamination near Brownwood. Let me check and see. I haven't looked at Twitter in a while. Nothing new. Springfield, Missouri, tornado risk, pretty much 0. What's considered contamination? There's multiple things that can cause contamination. It essentially just means, like, when we're looking at the velocities like this. So this is the velocities. Obviously, it looks like there would be like a tornado here, but we don't actually have one. So we have a radar site that's located up here to the north. I can't show it there, but basically the radar's looking this direction, and it has this hail that it's looking into, and then the velocities are actually kind of glowing off some rotation there, but that's not rotation. It's just simply the hail core is blocking the velocities, and we actually get this sort of diagram that almost looks like there's like a tornado here, but we just don't. So that hail core there that's dropping a ton of hail is the reason why we have that little area of rotation basically there. There's a bunch of radar sites around. Unfortunately, we don't have a great view on any of them, but this one might be our best one. But this is from the other way. You can't really see since this is looking high up into the clouds, but there really isn't a whole lot of rotation there. There's really none at all. So, and that also might be happening on this other storm near Comanche. A little bit harder to tell because there isn't as much hail, but at least some sort of damaging wind threat is possible, at least with this storm for sure near Brownwood. But yeah, StormNet has been really all over this storm for a while. I think the percent chance of a tornado on there is like 70%, but yeah, it hasn't really developed into anything. But this was the favorite area for there being a tornado. We just have not had much we haven't really had a great setup for low-level winds. They've been pretty weak today. I mean, they're around, I don't know, 20, 30 miles per hour at most near the surface. It's not really impressive. Not near the, like a little bit off the surface. I'm talking like between 950 millibars to like 850. I should look at the severe storm in Arizona. What? There's a severe storm in Arizona. What? It's actually near Phoenix. It's near Surprise. What a surprise. It's actually kind of funny. This came out of nowhere. Who would have thought? They're not under a risk, right? Good look. This is a surprise, if you know what I mean. Yeah, there's not even a risk. That's kind of crazy. The storm actually looks impressive, too. We got a pretty decent hail core on that. Interesting. I did not have that on my bingo sheet for today. Do I have a prediction of what state might have the most tornadoes this spring or summer? Not really. I don't usually do predictions like that. They don't really... I mean, it's something that is kind of hard to predict to begin with because it's it's basically like a seasonal forecast. But yeah, I don't really have much there. Look at Connor stream.
I feel like trends back west are in a good spot. So I just haven't streamed.
We're in buckets of rain right now.
I think I'm gonna put it.
Strong winds.
Yeah,
this is on the Coffeyville storm.
Yeah, this is gonna be...
Maybe Natchez would be better. Probably Natchez. Dude, this is gonna be a freaking all-nighter, bro.
Okay. I don't know if you guys heard that. All right. So apparently he's gonna be driving all night. Which again, he wants to obviously. Connor Croft is gonna be chasing the event tomorrow back in the lower Mississippi Valley in the Dixie Alley, and by the way, this is the tornado risk tonight. So this is the updated tornado risk. It goes through about Fort Worth. Main concern would be any storms down in here, perhaps maybe an isolated storm back here. If any of those are able to get going, we might see another isolated tornado, which we have yet to have a tornado today, but that would be the threat area. Tomorrow's threat of severe weather, much larger. We are talking about a huge area across the southern plains, Dixie Alley, lower Mississippi Valley, even into the southeast. Main concern tomorrow will be damaging winds and large hail, but notice there is a huge 5% tornado risk. It's a large area. I do think this will probably get condensed to some extent, perhaps a confined 10% tornado risk somewhere as well. I'm not sure where that'll exactly be. My best guess at this point would be down in here, but we will see what the Storm Prediction Center says. I have yet to look at the HRR model on the latest run. the 000Z run is actually just coming out, so we might be able to time this out a little bit. This is a significant tornado parameter. Let's see how far out I can go. I can go to 10 a.m. tomorrow. But this is where I think the greatest tornado risk will be, is where all this white and green you see there is. That is honestly where I think the greatest tornado risk will be, is in eastern Louisiana and southern Mississippi. It's a tough place to chase, though, because there is a lot of trees in that area. So, but again, that's what I'm thinking for tomorrow. That'll probably be the greatest tornado risk across the board. With that being said, plenty of large hail will be possible, especially out of the initial storms in the morning that begin in Texas and go through Arkansas and Louisiana. And in addition to that, definitely some damaging wind potential for sure across that area. So that's what I'm thinking for right now, at least on those storms. But yeah, overall, again, got some side lobe contamination on the other storm. Perhaps some rotation trying to develop on the other storm that's south of Comanche. This one actually does, I believe, have a little bit more legitimate rotation right here. Looks a little bit more legit when it comes to rotation. Again, we don't have really any radar sites to verify that. Perhaps the one from Fort Worth. But at least something there trying to develop. A little bit of rotation. We'll be watching that one closely. New radar scan. Let's actually go back to this. It's definitely not as organized as the other one. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. Anybody over in Mississippi, by the way? Or anywhere in those states that are under the risk tomorrow? Just curious. I am possibly going to go live tomorrow. Not 100% sure when, for the record. If I do. Timing here real quick. If I go live, it'll probably be closer to, like, 2 o'clock Central. Maybe 3, but it looks like a really messy setup. And, yeah, overall, it looks like a really messy setup. I don't know if I'll go live for it. We'll see. It's kind of one of those things. It's kind of like going to be a 50-50. Because, I mean, today, honestly, was more of a 50-50 as well. I'd say I was leaning a bit more, though, toward the side of going live. Yeah, tomorrow's setup just kind of looks messy. Gonna be a messy day. Tornado risk is extremely low in Sherman, Texas. It's basically 0 at this point for tonight. Tomorrow, I believe. Let's go to tomorrow's risk. I don't know if I think DFW is like slightly included in tomorrow's risk, but it's not much. It's a 2% risk tomorrow morning, but again, it's a very low risk. It's one of those things where you should have a tornado action plan in place just in case. Have multiple ways to receive alerts, but it's not something you should be panicking about. It's still a relatively low risk. Yeah, we do have a little bit of rotation there near Comanche. We'll still be keeping a close eye on that. Right there. This one I don't think is... This one's not contamination. I don't think. Doesn't look like it. We'll watch that closely. How's it going, Simeon? Welcome back. Tornado risk is basically... It's very, 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 very close to 0. It's like right on the cusp of being 0. How's it going, David? Will I go live for South Carolina and North Carolina? We'll see about that. I don't really know about that one yet. I don't think it's going to be that big of a risk. Damaging winds, tornadoes being possible. Yeah, it's possible. If the tornado risk does materialize, then it's very possible. Same thing with tomorrow. If it materializes, I'll probably go live. Again, we'll see. Still some rotation there. It's not really overly impressive right now, but this is currently moving to the east, northeast toward Gustine, just south of Comanche. DFW is also under a very low tornado risk. It's low across the board. If you have any questions, by the way, feel free to leave those in the chat. I'm still answering some of those. Let's real quickly go back to Coffeyville. And not really much. Again, this storm has been kind of struggling. There's like a little bit of rotation. It's just not much. It's been struggling, to say the least. We have some gusty winds though for sure. Some small hail. Pretty large area of heavy rain as well. I think Connor was just going through that too. And then closing in on Oklahoma City, we got some strong storms approaching. This is the cyclone port in Norman, Oklahoma. So plenty of lightning right now. See the lightning out in the distance, but it's still pretty far away right now. Do solar flares affect weather? No. Solar flares do not affect weather. I've seen so many people talking about that. It does not. They're not correlated. Chance of hail in Missouri, pretty low. It's on the lower side. Maximum hailstone size will be like $half size. Stormy, we're about 3 hours in. It's definitely not starting. I have the color table, by the way, for my radar. I have to find a way to make it downloadable. I don't know how you do that, so I'll figure that out. I did find the color table, though. I am starving. It is getting close to being time for getting a McDonald's quarter pounder. Does Radar Omega have any different radars to watch over DFW? Yeah, they do. They have the 2 other radars that are closer up. These are the, like, airport ones. Pretty close to the airport. But, yeah, these are both on Radar Omega. Yeah, if you want to download Radar Omega, you can download it with the top link in the description below. It's on iOS and Android. And a friendly reminder, today's live stream is brought to you by Radar Omega. It is a weather app that you can get on your iOS and Android device. It has plenty of different features, including the live radar. You can customize the radar a ton, like the warnings. You can customize the color tables that you're using as well, so it looks even cooler and more different. You can also see all the different computer models. It has like the HRR model, the NAM3K, has the GFS, European models even on here. Has some tropical models. You got satellite imagery, and you can customize it with all these different options on the left side of your screen. And in addition to all this, they have a really cool feature with these cyclone ports. These are live cameras that you can watch various things happening across the country. Obviously, it's nighttime, so a lot of this is, it's dark, but you can see the lightning in the background. But these are all live cameras you can see on the Radar Omega app. You can download it with the top link in the description below on iOS and Android, and you can even watch storm chasers like Vince Walty or Brandon Kopic, both on this app. You can, again, see all of them on the app as well. Make sure to check it out on the top link in the description below. It's only $8.99 on iOS and Android, but again, I highly recommend it. It is totally worth the $9 investment. It's a fantastic weather app, and it's has, again, tons of features. Has hundreds of different features. I only listed a few, but there are definitely tons of them. Again, I appreciate Radar Omega for sponsoring today's live stream. There are 3 subscriptions on Radar Omega as well, but the base costs $8.99. But again, you don't need to buy a subscription to have the app. It's just a one-time cost for some of the features, and then you can get more for a little bit more. I work at McDonald's. Nice. By the way, this severe thunderstorm watch goes until 10 o'clock tonight across Texas and southern Oklahoma. The one for Kansas goes until 9 o'clock, and that also includes northern Oklahoma. But rotation still struggling. We have a little bit of rotation trying to develop just south of Comanche. But again, it has not been much to this point. And you can actually see it from here. The rotation's definitely still staying pretty broad overall. Again, we'll keep a close eye on it, but I have my doubts. That inflow in the Brownwood storm, Yeah, there's a bit of an inflow. I mean, it's had an inflow for hours now. Like, it's had a clean pocket for an inflow, but there just has not been any sort of rotation that's really developed out of it. I mean, we've been watching the storm since we started about 3 hours ago. It's been like this for about 3 hours. It's been pretty much like this. The problem has been just the low-level winds. Not been very strong. Been going good, Lucy. It's been going good. I've barely eaten anything today. It's been like I feel like I've been so busy today, and so many things happening. I had to make a video. Had to do a bunch of other stuff, and yeah. I mean, it's been such a busy day. I haven't had a legitimate meal yet today. Like I had like a preheated. I had a microwavable breakfast sandwich before I went live. That's how busy it's been. I've not had time to actually make a real meal. That's why I'm gonna go at McDonald's at some point soon. So, can't wait. Have to do a huge derivation tonight. Double quarter pounder? I think I'm only gonna be getting a single. I don't need a half-pound burger. No problem, 777. As Connor is driving by a McDonald's drive-thru, or did he just do that? I think they got food at Casey's or something. McDonald's has green shamrock shakes. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think I'm gonna have one of those. I think I had one before, and it was not very good. I don't remember it being that good. Could be wrong. How's it going, Nation? Welcome back. The amount of sugar that McDonald's fraps have in them is astronomical. I mean, there is so much sugar in those. By the way, we have no severe thunderstorm warnings right now. All of them have expired. The storm down here closer to Brownwood is down to a special weather statement. Oh, actually, we technically have one warning. It's back over in Arizona. This one that's going toward Phoenix, Arizona. This thing has a huge hail core on it. Near Peoria, near Surprise. It is a surprise that this even happened, but that is happening. Congrats, Simeon. You start somewhere on YouTube. I started with 0 subscribers, believe it or not. Surprise. But no, I mean, like, honestly, it's a grind if you want to, you know, actually do YouTube. It's a serious amount of time, but I mean, I love doing it. I really never treated this like a job. I just love going live and doing weather forecasts. Yeah, I think the fraps have like 100 grams of sugar. It's crazy. Have a great night, Mitch. Appreciate you tuning in. Here's the latest radar scan. And this storm over here near Mullen has had some contamination, but the other one that's near Gustine has actually had a little bit of rotation. It's just has not really materialized too much. Since these storms are so close together, it might struggle a bit with that. Still pretty broad rotation overall for sure. But again, no severe storms right now, and I think for the most part, a lot of the storms will remain that way. We have a lot of thunderstorms out there, a lot of lightning, a lot of small hail, a lot of gusty winds, but the majority of these storms at this point have gone non-severe. I have to say, honestly, I think the marginal threat of severe weather that we had the other day had a lot more severe weather than this. But with that being said, we still had a lot of severe weather. It was just a lot more rural areas for the most part across central Texas. When I start posting videos, I mean, we've been doing. You're my first super chat ever. I'm glad I was the first one, Melissa. I appreciate your generosity. I started posting videos technically back in 2019, but a lot of the videos were just like, they weren't low quality. They were just short 2 to 3 minute weather forecasts, mostly just practice stuff when I was a little bit younger. And then 2020 is when I still was posting some videos, but not a whole lot. Mostly on Facebook. There wasn't a whole lot of videos on YouTube. 2022, probably spring of 2022 is when I really started to post more videos on YouTube, and that is actually when we started to grow on YouTube. And I got to like 10,000 subscribers in like June or something, and then the rest is history. I know Ro's been here since like, I don't even know, day one, pretty close to it at least in terms of max velocity and whatnot. Hail is a possibility in Fort Worth. It's primarily going to be a threat, though, early tomorrow morning. How's it going, Vegan? Welcome back. Start watching you at 10,000 subscribers, I think. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people did. I mean, I had a lot of, like, viewers even early on. A lot of them were not subscribed, but I did have a lot of viewers in that time frame. Here's that shelf cloud, by the way. This is the shelf cloud that went through German Texas. Little time lapse of it. Obviously, when the sun set, it's kind of hard to see, but can't really see it after that. But it's pretty cool. The shelf cloud evolution in German Texas. Very, very cool. And that was on the Cyclone port on Radar Omega. I was hoping they would put a time lapse out about that. They usually do. No problem, Eric. I have not seen any confirmations of a tornado, Jeff, on the Kansas storm. I don't think we had anything. I mean, Connor Croft, who was storm chasing with us this entire time, I mean, he was on that storm like the entire time, and I never saw any evidence of there being a tornado. So I highly doubt it. But you never know. There might have been something very brief. That's awesome, Simeon. That's awesome. Thank you, Vegan, for becoming a minimum velocity member. I appreciate that. Welcome to the Velocities. That is 12 new members today. And by the way, if you're wondering about tomorrow's severe weather threat, nothing's really changed since earlier today. So if you want to check out my video forecast from earlier, it is on our YouTube page. It's like the latest video. You probably can skip to about 5 or 6 minutes in to see the main details, but I'm not going to do a full forecast on that tonight. I would rather just keep it to that, because that pretty much nothing's really changed on tomorrow. Tornado risk will probably be across eastern Louisiana, back into southern Mississippi and southern Alabama. That's where I really think the main corridor for severe weather will be in terms of tornadoes. We've had no confirmed tornadoes tonight. None at all. That doesn't mean we haven't seen any, but we have had none confirmed. That's awesome, Crusader. Yeah, I know. A lot of the severe weather events, man, we were live for that marginal threat the other day of severe weather, and I didn't even realize, but we had a peak of 6,500 concurrent viewers on that. That was just a marginal threat of severe weather. And even on the Midwest tornado outbreak that happened last Thursday, we had a peak of like almost 8,000, I think. It's crazy. Just crazy stuff. Our highest peak ever was 10,000, and that was on Hurricane Ian. Or, no, that was Hurricane Idalia, excuse me. Yeah, the viewership's just been insane recently. Their rotation in Walnut Springs or Glen Grove? Or Glen Rose, sorry. Not really. I mean, we still have a little bit of, like, rotation near Gustine. It's not much. There's a little bit of rotation there. But otherwise, really not looking at a whole lot. This is contamination right here. That's the one you're talking about. That's just contamination. Not something I'll be worried about. But damaging winds are possible near, or not damaging winds, but gusty winds are possible near Walnut Springs. That is some good old contamination. We've had a lot of that here in Texas tonight. Past summer, during the bad storms in the Midwest around August, yeah, I try to go live for almost every Midwest severe weather event. They're always very interesting. That is at least what I try to do. Ohio Valley and Midwest, we always try to go live for, including North Texas too. I try to go live for any North Texas event, even if it's minimal. We still try to go live for all of them. North Texas is really our home region. That's where we started everything, so is why we focus on that a lot more. What's the longest I've been live for? It was actually my first year of doing nationwide weather back in 2022. We had an 8-hour live stream. It was for Nebraska, Kansas. I think there was another state in there. But that was our longest ever live stream. We had a 7.5-hour live stream last year for another severe weather event. I believe it was in the spring of last year. We also had that. We've had a few long ones. Those are just a couple. Let's see if I can recognize any others. Yeah, April 5th of 2023. That was a 7.5-hour live stream. I think I lost my voice the next day on that. We had a 6-hour live stream for Hurricane Ian. 6-hour live stream for some severe weather event in July 23rd of 2022. Yeah, those were some of the longest ones. We had an 8-hour one. I'm trying to find it. Yeah, an 8-hour live stream. There was a tornado outbreak. It was Kansas and Nebraska were mainly impacted by that. But yeah, that was an 8-hour live stream. That was a crazy long live stream. That was June 12th of 2022. I mean, if we have to be live for 8 or 9 hours, I'm not against it. I mean, I'm totally down for it. But there's only been a handful of times where that's actually been necessary. So those are really the main ones that have been necessary to be live for that long. Would I be live for 8 hours with this? There's just no way, because there's really not a whole lot going on right now. And I don't really think much else will happen after this, at least in terms of like a widespread event or even significant severe weather. It's mostly minimal right now, but yeah, it's one of those things. If it's like a large event or a long event, it's definitely a possibility. Like a derecho would be an example of that. Like if there's a derecho, we definitely might have to be live for 6 to 8 hours or more. Again, there's no reason to be live like for 8 hours for this. Alrighty, well that's going to do it for tonight's stream because I am starving and I really need food because I've barely eaten today. So I appreciate everybody watching today's live stream. Make sure, again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe down below. It's the red button down below. Subscribe, click the bell icon so you're notified with the latest videos and live streams. And also thank you again for anybody that has super chatted in today's live stream. If you become a member, I appreciate you guys a lot. Again, it helps keep this page going, so I appreciate you guys with any new members, any super chats. Thank you if you did something as simple as liking or subscribing today, or even just watching the stream. If you're still here, I really do appreciate you guys tuning in. And I will probably, again, I might go live tomorrow. I'm not sure. I don't know if I'll have a video on tomorrow. If I do have a video, no, I'm not gonna have a video tomorrow. So no video tomorrow. I might go live though, so stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click the bell icon so you're notified with the latest live streams and videos. And again, I appreciate Radar Omega for sponsoring today's live stream. If you want to download Radar Omega, that's what we've been using this entire live stream to watch all the different live cams and a ton more on Radar Omega. You can download it with the top link in the description below on iOS and Android. It's only $8.99, but I highly recommend the app. You can look at all sorts of different computer models, satellite imagery. It's a very customizable app that you can get on your phone. So make sure to check it out. Again, top link in the description below. Really do appreciate Radar Omega for sponsoring today's live stream. Hope everybody has a safe and great rest of your night. We'll see you guys all again. If we go live tomorrow, we'll see you then. If not, we will see you on Saturday in our next video. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Have a great night. See you guys all again soon.